All four maps here, we're going to run through Erangel, Miramar, Sanhok, Vikendi with PMCO style scoring, so that's 20 for the dub, and no points for the last few places.
Yeah, and looking at the teams right now, coming into the game tonight on the first game here on Erangel, and the playing path looking pretty good, if I do say so myself, straight through the middle.
Oh.
It's going to pass areas such as Pachinki and School and Rozhok, and also give players who choose perhaps down to the Fairy Pier and also Georgiapol, one of these areas where I know I haven't mentioned it straight away here, Bigfoot, but has been contested in a couple of the scrims recently.
Yeah, it gets very contested there. It's looking like a couple of teams are already jumping north, so we could see that happen right again here. No one directly towards the containers as of yet.
And looking at the teams, as I say, we obviously have teams, really big teams right now in today, like Totem Esports. We obviously have COMEGETSOME back tonight as well. We have Kings, we have BB Esports, we have Qlash in Throne as well, and Orion Nebula, another team that we've seen a lot, even Equilibritas, whatever, Equilibrium, however you call it, it's Spanish. I don't do Spanish right now, I used to do it. But the Spanish team, we'll call them the Spanish team.
Call them AEQ if you want. Equilibritas.
You know, you could have told me that before I tried pronouncing their name.
No, it was worth the lols, mate. It was worth the lols.
It was worth it. It was worth it, me trying to pronounce 2 seconds into the stream and starting out here. But we also see a lot of teams, as we expected here, to go into Georgiapol. And we see a recast as well as Throne going to be coming in here, and perhaps a little bit of a skirmish going to come out, but we also have a lot to look at as well. Recast Gaming, who are the northwest side up actually at Zarki here as well, Bigfoot, and they're going to be really far from this first phase border, which is actually spawned down in the military base.
Yeah, really far south, especially for that northern flight path, and we do see a couple teams trying to glide across the water here. It's looking like RE are well ahead of King, and they're going to land first in Novo. Fresh is going to land just behind them, and it's looking like Frills and the other two members of King are going to be landing pretty late and not next to the loot, so it's really on King to get out of this zone before they get wiped too soon.
Right, and we're going to have a look here at King versus Reborn around Nova Riponye, and I'm done with the names already here, Bigfoot, trying to pronounce them, but this military base is going to be an area of Erangel right now in this game number 1, which is going to be contested. And a team that we have to look at going into this day of games here is Totem Esports, a team that managed to secure themselves 99 points and 35 kills last week in Brute.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, really adding up there. And it's the good thing about these weekly scrims is we can look back on the weekly performance. There's a couple of scrims we stream where it's, or one strict scrim we stream, it's every day. It's almost impossible to keep up with the league board and how it runs, but it's great doing these weekly events with very similar teams each week and seeing how they pan out and play out in different situations.
And as we see, as you say, these teams now moving across down to the south of the map, and we see COMEGETSOME making their moves in the vehicle down past the bridge and right into the zone of King and their grip here on the other side. And King, a team that has been dominant, and that's fair to say, I think, and especially their team fighting. King have what I've seen in recent scrims here, Bigfoot, some of the best team fighting ability out of all the teams tonight.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, in squads, it's the number one thing. It's in the title there. It's how you work together as a squad. You could have 4 of the best PUBG solo players who could just be a terrible, terrible squad together. And it's all about that communication. After I started streaming, I started getting in touch with a few semi-pro or serious teams, and playing with them really made me realize the standard of comms that you need to have to succeed in a tournament environment. It needs to be extremely high.
Yeah, the synergy on the team needs to be 100%. And looking around at this map, actually we're going to have a look, as I say, Totem Esports, as they make their moves down to map later on. But also, we see actually COMEGETSOME going for a 2-2 split around both areas of the south side of Erangel here inside the zone. But we also have to notice that King thrills out on the edge here against the side of Reborn, just kind of seeing how he can scout out if he can find any snipes onto any of the Reborn members here.
Yeah, he's probably aware of the full squad there. He's just keeping an eye out for the rest of his squad to make sure they don't get pushed up on by surprise. COMEGETSOME duo have finished looting up that little warehouse, and they're heading down to some of the other compounds. Untouched has just made it to the warehouse that CGS has left. And I also moved up to Georgipol here, trying to catch a bit of the action as Throne and Reborn recast. Met up, and as minute I came here, I saw an excellent headshot with the M4 as someone was cooking a grenade. And the push is continuing.
That we want to see here, Bigfoot, as we see actually Kendo trying to throw those grenades and trying to scout out the members of Recast here. And Recast, a team that we've not seen, as far as I'm aware, so far on the Brute Scrims, or at least I've not seen them so far in the Brute Scrims so far. And looking at this team, we're going to have to see tonight how they play and how, as a team and as a squad, they can perform against Throne, one of the better teams in this scrim.
Well, I can assure you right now, they at least know what they're doing a little bit, because they got that one knock, and they moved about 100 meters back already. And while Throne are scrambling through these buildings trying to find them, Recast have managed to just make a really, really safe retreat. And they definitely didn't have the loot ready to deal with that Throne push. So at least as far as decision making is going and positional play is going, I can assure you they know what they're doing right now. They did not take any risks there in retreating, which is really important if you're not ready for it.
And that's what you've got to understand here, is that Throne were the team with the grenades, with the weapons on hand and the advantages against the side of Recast, and choosing to be defensive and not going out when there's still 18 teams alive is so vital, especially when you've not taken anyone down yet. You do not want to go through game one without any points at all on your board. And we're looking at still, as I say, 18 teams alive, and as we hit past the 7-minute mark in a very quiet game in game number one, teams split, but as we now see on the south side, it will be actually PROE making their move down to the south side, and where Fresh could potentially get a couple snipes in.
Yeah, so PROE got a knock there before they retreated. I think another similar situation, maybe not quite being ready for the engagement. Stay, who I'm looking at right now, has only got one energy drink. And as they pull in on King, split up in a quadruple split. Not another member of King in sight here, so Fresh is in danger as PROE pull up on him. His other members are just scattered around Military Island. They think Military Island is safe, but as that zone jumped down, Military Island is becoming less and less safe by the minute right now.
This is up for Fresh right now, a 1v4 situation. The frag grenade goes out, but it's not going to land on anyone. He's trying to get Stay right now from the rooftop, but he's not going to find it. And now as we see a couple members, two actually on the side of PROE making a way. He's managed to get one knock. Can he find the second? He's on the roof, but he cannot do it, and that will be Fresh going down and instantly wiped from the game. And that's going to be really devastating for King, who rely on these members in their team fights.
Yeah, I'm not sure if PROE are going to get away with that, though. You do see King putting in hard, trying to finish this off, and King are not going to let them get away with that. But the real deciding factor in that situation was Fresh being by himself on this bottleneck, and then he opened fire, of course, alerting them to his location. But Bond is across the road, hiding. Untouched is across the road. They might just be waiting now, playing it a bit more slowly as Frills comes back in, and they do not want to let PROE get away with this.
Yeah, unfortunate that we have lost one member, and very decisive from the side of PROE just to immediately delete him and not use him as a bait perhaps for King to move in on to try to rescue their downed member here. We also see Totem losing a member, and surprisingly Totem, another top team.
Yeah, Totem, a really strong team, and they must have gone out. Is that just one member? How's Totem doing on a whole?
We also see
Yep.
Yogan pretty low right now, has to use a first aid kit, but that is a result of all of these teams around this bridge, as we actually see MW making those moves down into the south area of the map, and as Totem are helpless, they can't do anything to deny this crossover.
These bottlenecks are ridiculous, so I'm going to just stick around here and watch Pro and King fight it out, because I'm pretty sure more people are going to come and join this party on the other side of the bridge as this zone starts to close in and teams make that desperate push to the south, but they're all bottlenecking on the bridge. No one's taking any alternative methods right now. No one's swimming, no one's boating. There's 2 teams on the south of the bridge, 2 teams on the north. We see a similar situation on the other bridge as well. And it's looking like COMEGETSOME are forming back up on the southwest all together now. Still keeping it safe in those south compounds. Maybe they've managed to get enough loot. And we have members going down on the other end of the bridge. That would be Rich lost from Aequilibritas.
Yeah, AQ versus the team of Defeater here. Defeater, another new team to brute Scrims here. And actually, Fender going down almost to the side of this Defeater here, almost defeating one member of AEQ. And really stuck position right now as Defeater have taken out the gas station in control for their side. Now having to use the hills, but we also have to look at the side of RoyalSavage, another team who are trying to scout out and clash on the opposite side of this bridge. And 4th squad here, potentially trying to cross this one bridge.
And King do get a knock on PROE as someone also downs Fender from Aequilibritas. So that is Pro and King making a move in on that compound on the south side. I'm just going to switch back over to it.
We will have to see how they perform untouched behind a tree. Fratella here has got the angle on him and putting him down and pinning him in his position here outside of the building zone, and untouched making up moves. He does manage to get around, and 2 members flanking, and this is where King really perform right now in their ability to flank around entire squads, despite whether they may have only 3 members on their team. But saying that, Thrills gets knocked down, unfortunately, by the side of it will be PROE, and they will actually be putting King in their place right now.
Yeah, Thrills has been in a bit of a weird position throughout this whole engagement. He's just been standing on that hill there. Untouched is now down 2, and PROE are really just dominating this situation. King just couldn't get the switch on them. I'm not sure why Thrills was so far back. Bond missed his chance to hit the Reviver as the Reviver ran towards the Rev. And it's looking like PROE are just sitting pretty comfy in this bottleneck. They're going to go and get some loot from Untouched. And Frills is just bleeding out. Bond is just stranded in the gas station, not knowing what to do. And we do have shots. They've gone up the hill for the higher angle, and they're going to try and bleed Frills out and also get Bond on his way to him. And King have just had an unfortunate beginning to this match now.
And we do see the side of RoyalSavage have used a boat, which was the southwest of that gas station, on the opposite side and north of that bridge, and actually make it successfully across with all 4 members of their squad. Qlash doing what Qlash do, being sneaky round the side as they move 2 members of their team across through the water away from the action.
That's Frills out, and Bond just looking lonely and confused.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that King, a team that were 3rd place last week, secured 32 kills and 63 points, which is massive kills in terms of the game, and the 2nd highest amount of kills last week. Are now really struggling in game number 1 on Erangel, but we also see Most Wanted versus Orion Nebula. 2 teams that have consistently been in week out, now on the west side of the south part of the map, coming in and skirmishing against each other here.
It's interesting to catch up with COMEGETSOME after they've managed to spend first half of that game just looting up all the little individual compounds around Sosnovka Island, and now they're just trying to pick off the teams on their way into this island. They've got a good high point quite in the south, and it's one of the highest points around this area, so they do have a good 360-degree vision as these teams scramble around deciding where they're going to go.
Yeah, there is only 2 more teams to cross, and 2.5 make that, as we have Throne, we have Flex, and Qlash. 2 members of Qlash still to move over, but 2 members nevertheless. We do have Shadow and Dark making their way across the water slowly, albeit, but already on in the action here. As you say, come get some. Penta have moved round past them and survived, getting them way into the military base. And actually, as we see that zone shift, they might have to redouble back with their team, as it now falls in favor of Totem still to cross.
Yeah, and the Orion Nebula are looking pretty comfortable in their zoning. The zone wasn't definitely even going to shift on Military Island. I mean, it's unlikely with only about 20% being on the north, but it could have ended up on the north still. Many teams made that push across the bridges quite early there without the guaranteed southern circle. And it's still not impossible for it to keep shifting north. I'm expecting it to shift mostly around this bridge area. Maybe even exactly on that compound where Orion Nebula are right now. They might be able to keep that compound till the final circle if they're lucky.
And I'm just keeping an eye right now on Qlash. Unfortunately, Spirit does go down to Flex, and this is where Qlash really has suffered detrimentally right now in this first game on Erangel, as they are on the opposite side, split. Leo on one side of the river, Dark and Shadow still to cross through the water on the other. And all of these teams are now going to be positioning round, and we see Penta as well, another team now coming up against the side of the Recast Gaming here, and they will be a team that have retreated once, but I expect now to team fight against the side of Penta.
It's nice. Still reasonably slow right now while the teams just move compound to compound. I do see COMEGETSOME getting some shots off on the distance there into Recast. Recast making it all the way from Georgia Pole down to the island.
Yeah, Kensai, one of these players on COMEGETSOME that we really have to look at right now as a sniper. Kensai has sniped out some really nice shots in the past couple weeks and games here, and we expect none less here as he tries to find a member of Recast, but gets taken down by, unfortunately, them. And we say just through the smoke onto Kensai here, but Timer is just there as well to double up and revive him back to full health. In Recast, one of these new teams putting on the hurt for these returning veterans.
Yeah, that was just a little bit too much looking on Kensai's part. Just kind of stood in the window with the scope open. They saw 2 people, one of them scoping down at him back, and didn't seem to like pull back. He should have pulled back there, but yeah, he suffered from not pulling back, and he definitely got that headshot right in the face. I'm not sure how Recast plan to make a move from here though, because it's a very open playing field to that coast, and CGS do have a good angle on that, and it's looking like Peace might even be planning just to swim all the way east. We'll have to see how that one goes out for him.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on Peace, as Totem sit very comfortably on the other side of the bridge, but they are going to have to make moves themselves now, and Throne as well as Leo from Qlash there is trying to make his way round, split from his team, but it's going to be difficult for him to do so. Trying to find that snipe across the rock onto Throne. And these teams now going to have to be really careful, as the safe zone is going to be inside the water for them. They're going to have to try cross through the safe zone in the water and onto the land. Also, there will be a drop package there as well for the first team that gets into the beach and manage to secure that edge of the water against Throne, Qlash, and any other team looking to get inside into safety here.
And we also have RoyalSavage keeping a bit of a pin here. Limited edition on a compound just outside of zone, and RoyalSavage aware of their location, bearing down on any entrance they're going to try and make into zone on foot right now. And I'm not sure how limited edition are going to get out of this one without the knocks. They need to time those shots perfectly, time those peaks perfectly, get a knock and run to zone through some smoke. And Flex are pulling up from behind as well. Predator getting some shots off into Weekwa, I think. Weekwee. Yeah, Flex pulling up the back.
Predator here, and another team here, RoyalSavage, a team that we have to look at moving into Flex and looking into limited editions here. And they actually will be Predator trying to get that snipe onto Gabby. Does actually manage to get that knock, and we're gonna have to see how they can perform moving round. Gabby does fall down, and now comes the vehicles from Flex as they try and make their way in. 6 kills already. Can they secure more against the side of limited edition? We'll have to find out, but Penta on the backside as well, on the flank. Could be another team trying to clean up the winners here, but we actually do see Reborn getting a drop onto Pack, as well as COMEGETSOME also on the action here on the other side as these teams move closer and frantically into this border. Still 14 teams alive, Bigfoot.
Yeah, I just want to take a second as well to talk about why I say placement above everything. And when I say everything, I mean literally everything. Don't even worry about kills until you've got your placement. We did see Flex pulling on that compound there, right? And then they saw some kills available to them. So they pulled over and they got those kills. But what they didn't realize was limited edition were pinned by RoyalSavage, and that pin just transferred over to Flex. And if they just kept driving and focused on position, they wouldn't be in this pinch outside of zone that they're in right now, which all started because of the lust for the kills. And they could be getting a first place placement if they just kept driving.
And I'm just taking a look. Unfortunately, Orion Nebula picked off one by one there by the side of COMEGETSOME, who have just obliterated the entire side of Orion Nebula. Only one remaining member out of position there, and the surviving member on the edge of the border. He will have a lot to contest here, with at least 3 teams coming into his area, into his space. But Times going up against Totem. Now, Totem, the victors from last week, but CGS still nevertheless taking on the Titans here as they move their way in against Totem. 3 members left, Yogan and Alajab down. Chris, the only surviving member. He's got no kills so far, but can he up that to a couple of kills with his team? Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he can split away from his squad members here, Bigfoot.
We do see a couple people going down to zone. That it was Rambo. Yeah, Penta Michi does get Kendo from Throne. KZS instantly gets the revenge kill on Michi. Straight back at him, hiding in that grass there. He didn't know that he had the angle, and he goes straight down. And the other member, yeah, it does look like Kendo's on the instant revive.
Kendo kept alive there by his teammate, and this is where it all comes down to. 10 teams left in an open playing field right now. Not really any buildings to protect these teams, only rocks and trees will do it. And now as we see the snipes back coming through the fog is what we expect to see. The cars, the vehicles, the makeshift blockades here from these teams to fill in the space and make walls for themselves and spaces to maneuver. Even the smoke screens as well we expect to come out in creative ways for these teams. The height of the ground, another way that these teams will be moving around and deciding how they're going to move. And we actually see Kendo getting that shot onto Harami, knocking him down.
Yeah, I'm just watching Kensai there. He comes rushing into this building in his car like some sort of action movie scene, and he's just him and Benyo, who are both stuck in this little compound together, this one building, are just smoking up and avoiding each other. Neither of them are making the push.
We'll have to keep an eye there. Throne do take a knock onto most wanted. Totem do actually find links there from COMEGETSOME, and one remaining member, Kensai, as you say, now stuck, but it will be RS taking a knock onto Throne in return.
Boris goes down just like our Prime Minister. He's going to get the rev though, and he's back in action. Not very dissimilar to the UK political situation right now.
Revived back into action, as we say, back on the front line. And we see Throne, a team with still 4 members alive. One knocked down, one low, but albeit 4 members alive. And we actually see Kendo trying to take down the side of RoyalSavage here, but actually gets knocked himself on the other side from Chris, and that will be not great for him, unfortunately, as he now makes his way back. And now we also see Naranix here trying to make plays through this open area of the map to try get a revive in, but not knowing where these teams are and only having the smoke clouds, the height advantage on the hills as a way to suss out where the teams are is going to be so difficult for these teams to try and make any movement on the map.
Yeah, what an excellent final circle. There was about half the map was knocked on 1 bar of health there for a second. It was just everyone was damaged. It looks like everyone's back up now. Penta healing up. Kensai still just standing there by this tiny little compound with a 3-man squad next to him. Just hiding. Let's have a little look in here. Where is he? He's actually in the truck. He's actually in the truck.
Absolutely no way.
Look at him.
He's gonna get out of this.
No, watch. They're gonna run past him. Oh no, they're gonna try and blow up the car.
He's come out. The car is trying to get blown out. Here comes Cloudtail here. Kensai, can he spot him out in time? He's going for the shots and he's now revealed where he is. Can he get the knock up?
He does get one.
He's trying to instantly remove him out of the game. The smoke shield just hiding everything from vision. And Kensai sniped from Throne. KZS on the back foot steals it away from Penta.
Yeah, that unrelenting shots from the DP. It was only a few bullets there and he was gone. Yeah, beautiful stuff. He did good to survive that long, that close to a whole squad. And now we do have Throne pulling in a full squad. It's looking like Most Wanted EU down to 1 member, Senso. And he does get a knock on Boris on his way in. Go on, Senso, keep bleeding.
He's got to be careful here. He is in the grass trying to get those snipes out. He does get naded on and he found out where he is. He can't go anywhere up because he will get shot from 3 sides from PROE, Penta, and obviously, as we say, the side of Throne. Throne, the leading team right now with 9 kills, but equaling that right now is actually the side of PROE. In PROE, 7 kills on Vitella right now is doing work with 15 make that actually, on their other 2 members combined. So definitely some crazy gameplay coming out right now. Some crazy team fights from Bro. Has been almost shot down here by Vitella, but actually does find a knock-up. Most Wanted still alive right now as the zone moves in unrelentingly against these teams.
And she does go down to Senso there. Senso really raking in the kills considering he's by himself. And that's the match ended. And I've skipped the scores. I hope you can get the scores there, buddy.
Just like that, the match disappears. And as we say, the scoreline here is just gone up for Throne as they take the advantage and take the chicken dinner in that game. As they take a massive 13 kills on the board here. But we also have to, as I say, look at the side of PROE, a team that relatively new into this scrims here on Brute, but securing himself a very healthy 16 kills in game number 1 is nothing to be overlooked at.
Yeah, that's great stuff. What an entrance. I can't wait to see more of that.
And I think also looking at these teams, I think the disappointing thing here is actually the side of Totem Esports, Bigfoot. They haven't actually taken down any real advantage in game number 1, unfortunately, and it's going to be up to them in game number 2 to see how they'll perform moving in.
Yeah, they really need to pull back the points there. I think I need to shut down this stream and start back up because I'm on the wrong delay setting. I'm on 20 seconds. We need to up that to 5 minutes. So no one can get sniped there. So you just hold on 1 second there, buddy. You can stay there. But viewers, I should be back up in 5 minutes once I've set the new delay up. Sorry for that mistake, and we'll be back with you in 5. Stop streaming. In 5 minutes once I've set the new delay up, yeah. And I wonder if it goes straight back in or not. Hey, look at that. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello.
Are we going?
There you are. Yeah, we're going, man. Just testing out this new webcam setup.
No, exactly. Testing out the webcam.
Did you manage to get the scores there? I got kicked straight out.
I did manage to get the scores.
Could you give us a little rundown, please?
Oh man, looking back, I mean, obviously looking at the scores, I'm gonna have to head into my photos here and have a look at how the scores have gone in. Looking at Throne here, obviously taking the chicken dinner. They do manage to get themselves a very healthy, as I say, 13 kills. But Penta in second place and PROE, a team, as I say, coming back in to the scrims here for a first time and taking, as I say, those really nice 16 kills on the board. And looking at MW as well, a team that get fourth place, and points here in the first game matter just as much as kills. COMEGETSOME getting fifth place, Totem in sixth, and RS going to be making it into seventh place.
Yeah, the first game really sets the momentum. I think a big thing is getting those victories, or at least the survival in early, and not being put on your back foot, because psychology is such a big part of this game, and when you start off bad, it is hard to put it back. So you do generally tend to expect some of the higher finishing squads from the first game or two to continue that momentum, but obviously anything can happen in PUBG, and we've seen someone on the top of the leaderboard in first place get pushed down out of the top three with an instant wipe in the fourth game, for example.
Yeah, we've seen dominant teams in the first three games, and really all come down to that final game. You have to have consistent performances here in all four games to make it onto the top and make it up to that #1 spot on the scrims. As we saw last week, we do have actually Totem Esports, Gamers Unite Nation, and Kings be top three teams there from last week. And looking at the kill score, 35 on Totem last week. Gamers Unite took 30 and Kings on 32. In the difference there, over 20-point difference between first and second, and only 5 kill difference between first and second. And that's because of the placements of these teams. And as you say, the placements are where the points really come.
And we definitely saw King take those kills and take those placements. We were working as a group last week, and to see them just suffer so much by splitting up all over Military Island and not thinking when the circle pops that there's going to be team after team heading towards the island soon. It was just kind of spread a bit too far out, and they were put on the back foot there, as I do forget which other squad it was, did manage to land in Novorepnoye first. And you've got to get those jumps right. If the edge of Novorepnoye, for example, is the only bit you can possibly land at, which it was in that situation with that flight path, you have to make sure you jump at exactly the right time and get there first, because we saw the other squad land on the little corner and they had no option but to pull off and go with those not so ideal compounds to loot up in.
Exactly. And looking at these teams here, we have to also look at not only PROE, but Totem and COMEGETSOME, two teams Fit looked really promising, but didn't quite get into that top 3 finish. It will be up to them to see how they place in these other games, and if we can see them come back inside of game 2 to 4 here. But also a team that really disappointed me was King, splitting early on and letting the squad of Pro EU clean you up like that early game was something that really wasn't King's style of gameplay, and something that we wouldn't expect to normally see from that squad.
Yeah, and I am just guessing by profile pictures here, but it's looking like Fritella, who's probably a tryout in Pro E, and another member Stay. They do have female profile pics, so looking like maybe at least a half female squad there. It's been quite tricky getting everyone's pronouns right in this game because you never know if they're a male or a female, and sometimes they're a male with a female profile picture. But I'm gonna call Fritella and Stay a she, and hope I'm right on that one.
Call them a they. Call them a they, man.
They and them is the easiest way to get away with this confusion. Definitely.
No, and looking at these teams, moving into the second game, of course, is going to be really exciting. In the third game, especially as we go on to Miramar and then Sanhok. But the fourth game, especially, I think the fourth game for me is the most exciting map on Vikendi here. And Vikendi always has that potential to go either way for these teams. And looking at the previous games on Vikendi, it can sometimes be a last-minute bloodbath down to positioning and sniping out the enemy teams, as we saw last week in one of our scrims there, Bigfoot, a very far westerly border with about 40% of the border consistently in the ocean.
Yeah, that was just ridiculous, and Vikendi is infamous for that kind of circle shift there, and it just kept on halving and halving with half the map still in the border. Was there not one point where we still had 16 teams alive and we only had 2, and that was in the first circle? So there was 14 teams outside of the first zone coming in from everywhere that wasn't that little west bit of coast around Dobro Mesto.
And that was just a disadvantage there of having the flight path on the east side of Vikendi, going straight down to the south easterly side and going for a westerly border, a wide westerly border and phase shift moving in. And the border was absolutely brutal and unrelenting in that game. And I would not be surprised to see another type of those borders soon, if not tonight here, Bigfoot, as well. And also, we see bloodbaths happening on Miramar and Sanhok, 2 maps there that are known for, if the flight path is right, to end up in a really heavy end game team fight in these more open maps.
And yeah, if you would like to see the exact game we're talking about, I did export it and I've uploaded it onto the YouTube channel as a standalone game. I'm going to try and start doing that more with the more interesting games, ones where we do get consistent shots right and manage to follow the action all the way through, and a really exciting game that will always be exported and uploaded by itself. So yeah, you can check that out. It's just the Vikendi Pro EU match that is up there on the tube on this channel.
Exactly. And looking at the squad that I really want to do well here is Qlash. And I follow Qlash from different games, and such as the likes of VG. And now moving into PUBG myself, seeing Qlash, a really high-level organization here, moving into a mobile game once again with PUBG here, Bigfoot. It's going to be really interesting to see how they play. And I think, looking at Qlash, they have that potential. They have the ability to start moving into these zones, starting to get a couple kills, and the individual plays look good on this team. But what I think Qlash need to do is they need to start performing as a squad, making those 4-man rotations there. They're a little bit not very committed to making those 4-man rotations, and when you're not making a full squad decision, you start to lose and get members picked off one by one. And that's what we started to see in game number 1 when that phase shifted away from their sides.
Yeah, everyone that wasn't with their squad basically died, with the river shift. You need to be moving together, like you're saying, and yeah, King went down to that mistake. And King, if they just stuck together, they probably would have been high kills, top 3. But they just went out early in that awkward situation around that compound at the south of the bridge. I was almost hoping another team would come down and add to the party right there, but what actually happened was most of the other teams stayed on that north side, consistently engaging for quite a long time until the King situation was over, and it was too late for them. So yeah, they taken a little while to get into the lobby as well on this game, so normally people are straight in. Maybe they're feeling the pain of that themselves. Right now we have Bond, Untouched and Fresh in the lobby, and we are missing one member. Hopefully he will come in, or maybe he's rage quit for the night. We will see.
Yeah, we'll have to see as well, looking at those squads. And a team like King really need to start respecting these new teams. And I think a lot of these returning teams didn't really respect the power and the expertise coming out from these new squads here, like the likes of PROE, and as well as some other squads coming in tonight, such as the Theta as well. A squad that are playing smart, and they just need to start getting those kills on the board, getting a little bit more team fight awareness in their belt here into the second to third game. But overall, generally a team that looked pretty dominant so far, and dominant inside of PROE squad there, really bring up the heat with, as I say, 16 kills, the most amount of kills on the first game, as well as the third place finish.
Yeah, so I think that maybe they just got complacent doing so well last week, and the clock's ticking with the zone, man. You can land on Military Island, it could be empty, but the clock is ticking and the zone is going to bring those players to you, and you cannot get complacent anywhere. You got to treat every map like it's Sanhok, and there could be enemies anywhere, really. You can't just be running around in a 1-1-1 split. And we are actually loaded now into Miramar, so we're going to take our beautiful faces and our first webcam appearance off the screen right now. As you can see, Highland Wolf's there in his car. And
my beautiful car.
And I'm here in my bedroom, and yeah, we're going to get back to Miramar, and we do see the lobby full up, although there was one member of King missing there. That might have been the first guy to go down on a bit of a rage quit flex, but King are now in a 3-person squad, and I maybe predict slightly less of a good week for them compared to last week.
Yeah, and looking at the predictions here, I mean, I'll put it myself, and looking at Totem Esports, a team that I expect to kind of have a decent week this week. And actually, as we say, they have placed fairly highly in game number 1, but they need to try place higher with the kills as well, and we know that they can do that. They secured themselves, as I say, the 35 kills last week, the most amount of kills in last week. And these teams really putting up the fight, as I say, these new teams against the likes of Totem Esports and Kings. And looking at Most Wanted, they managed to secure themselves 5th place as well last week, but with only 13 kills and 34 points, I want to see a team like Most Wanted and try and improve their kill score. They couldn't do it in game number 1, but 3 more games to go.
Half of Most Wanted are going somewhere I've never even considered dropping. This is insane. They're dropping at these little white dots I've seen before to the west of El Pozo. I've always wondered what they were. I think I've only been there once when I timed out and I woke up there. And that's, yeah. And they've actually, it actually looks like quite a nice amount of loot for them. Yeah, I have been here once. I timed out and I got dropped here. That's funny. So, yeah, they're in this spot that has no name.
No name but the west of El Pozo there. And as we see the flight path once again very generous in game number 2. And a lot of teams choosing to go for the predicted locations like Patron, like San Martin, like the water treatment, even a little bit of hill advantage, height advantage in the game here in the early stages. But El Azahar here is going to be another two teams dropping in onto it. Throne versus the side of Orion Nebula, going to be two veteran teams in the brute scrims going up against each other early on.
Yeah, and the Monte Nuevo drop is pretty hot. We do have Tengri just slowly bleeding out. For Mercy having a bit of a rocky start there, and it looks like our Team Defeater managed to get 1 kill in this situation. I think they did get that knock on Tengri too, see if that can be finished off. But yeah, there was 3 squads dropping here in Monte Nuevo. It's not a big space for 3 squads, and Raxman up on that high ground is just overviewing this whole situation right now, and I just hope Jabba can get Tengri back up and For Mercy can stay in this game, but they are absolutely surrounded right now. The 2 members in that central compound surrounded by 6 other players right now. It's a pretty precarious situation.
And we're going to have a look here as well at PROE, one of these teams in the hot drop right now. 16 kills in the last game. There's all the potential there for them to get that first couple kills on the board, get themselves up in those points. And as we say that, getting the first knock up onto one of the members here of the side of Defeater. But anomaly here is actually going to have to be careful here, as we do see the side, as you say, for Mercy come in from behind.
Yeah, so that Overwatch position didn't turn out as good as I expected it to. And for Mercy, still on the back foot in this situation. PROE spread pretty well. 2 of them keeping an eye out on the warehouse. And 2 of them making a push onto, I think they've heard Proxy's shots at one point. And that nade just bounces off the window there.
And I'm having a look here at BB E-Sports, team number 15 tonight, and they are making some plays right now against the side of Flex. As they get a couple of knockups on their belts here, and looking around, they do actually have a little bit of control here on their side, on their favor here at the water treatment, as they really just put the hurt into Flex Gaming and take them away from this area that they've now taken control of.
And that counter flank did work on Proxy. Fratello and Anomaly pushing together towards Proxy. Managed to get the knock, and Jabba and Tengri still in that same warehouse. Maybe just not really knowing what to do with themselves right now. And Tengri does go down, and Jabba goes down. 0-1-N-N. No, Din. Yeah, Din gets both those knocks. And yeah, it's looking like Anomaly's going to get revved straight back up.
And no surprise to see PROE, a team that performed so dominantly in game number 1, absolutely take charge and take control of the side of Monte Nuevo here, as they keep 4 members alive, adding 4 kills already, 4 points onto their board here in the second game on Miramar. And Miramar, one of these maps here that can go either way, and the border shift has moved down once again about 20% of the border in the ocean right now, in a very southerly side border here, with a lot of teams moving north. It's going to actually be the grenade there hitting on the enemies, and Scurry actually managing to take members of Throne down.
Yeah, Orion Nebula, Scree really, really happy in that little container. Waited perfectly to drop the nade. Little bit of machine gun managed to finish off the guy that the grenade didn't. He's going to leave him to bleed out and hopefully go and get Scythe, because they are 1 member down. Lilyuka is gone, and that does leave Orion Nebula with only 2 players. Naranx is probably going to get revved, and then it'll be a 2-on-2 situation, I reckon. Is that half of Throne gone? Yep, Boris is out. Didn't do as well into the last circles as they did last time. Unfortunate for Throne, and Orion Nebula are going to really try and finish this one off right now. But it does depend who's had the loot. If they've been fighting since they landed here, they might both be a little bit dry on the loot.
Yeah, and they've got to get those loot, as you say, get the weapons under their belt, get a couple scopes and get a couple bit of the snipers under their belt, as well as what these teams are going to be looking for, especially in such an open area. The range shots and the ability to get that height advantage and pick off members of enemy teams is what you're going to be looking for.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, sorry. It does look
You
like
see
we're on
Totem?
720 tonight and not 1080. I've been fiddling with the software and a couple settings to reset, so I hope you're enjoying this even though it's in 720p. I'm sure no one's even noticed, to be honest. But normally we do broadcast in full HD, and we will be back with that next time.
Yeah, I mean, not really too much of a difference. 720, 180, still HD, just not the full package there. And I'm sure you guys are okay with it. Is we still catch all the epic action as best we can. And Totem did manage to secure himself a healthy 2 kills and actually wipe out the enemies around them. Is now they sit very comfortably right now in the north side of the map. But we have to have a little look at Panic as well. Rambo gonna have to try and make his move past the side of Totem. Is all these teams in the north side as well. We talk about BB Flex as well. 648, 64B1 here. Gonna try and make a little couple plays here against BB Esports.
Undefeated did manage to knock a member out there of Equilibritas, but they both sort of retreated separate ways, so that is the only knock of that conflict we're going to see so far. And we do have in a different team now. We got limited edition. Yeah, this is limited edition right now, and they are pushing in on. Is it Reborn? Yeah. Over this little bit of terrain here, trying to get those shots off, and those they can't really push much further than this lump without going all the way around.
And we'll have to see how these teams really perform right now as Reborn. 3 members alive, and we see shots going down here. BB Esports do lose one. That snipe did come out. Then now the car's driving in, and now Reborn are gonna have to try stand up on this high ground. They can't quite find any snipes and any shutdowns from these vehicles just yet, as we actually see limited edition make a move in advancements towards Mido and Binbar here right now, as well as Hermes. 3 members versus this squad of limited edition. Also have AEQ right now on the background here as well. Bigfoot in the background and in the backdrop, or perhaps potentially get that snipe on the side of Reborn, who are open on the roofs. As you say, last week does protect them from one side but not the other. The sniper war is now coming out between limited edition Mido on the roof right now, but here comes AEQ round the side and choosing actually just to move into the border, but straight into the claws of Penta.
Oh, Bimbe does get one knock finally. That was a lot of peeking and hiding from both squads there, but the knock does come through. Mido's sent a lot of bullets off towards Weekwee, and nothing's quite landed yet. Are those nades going to do anything?
Yeah, AQ unfortunately did lose one member there, as they managed to unfortunately run straight into the squad of Penta. Only Reflex left alive for Aequilibritas E-Sports in Miramar right now, but we do see the side of limited edition. They've moved 2 members up closer to Reborn, and they're gonna have to see if they can continue to defend. The grenades putting Binba down to about half health. Mido is well about half right now. Hermes inside, potentially trying to snipe from the edge.
And look at the flank that Weekwee's on. Weekwee on that long flank, but so is Hermes. This could be a flank meets flank, and see which one comes out on top.
Hermes there as well, as we say. We've seen King do it before. That team try and successfully make it. Can Reborn copy in their footsteps here as they try flank around? Hermes choosing to actually be defensive and not go up against the squad of limited edition. But also on the other side of the map, we have to have a look at these teams as they move closer into the border here, as the phase shift is about in 1 minute to hit. Once more, as we are 12 minutes into the game, Penta securing themselves a really comfortable south side position with RS and Totem. But we also have to look at teams such as CGS here, as well as Qlash and King and Recast, going to be another two teams that come into this border in this phase shift right now.
And we have another knock, one for each team. Reborn and Limited Edition both taking a knock. Weequay kind of abandoning the flank to come back to the fight, and I think Hermes is doing the same. All that running out into the middle of nowhere for nothing, and he does have a flank on Weequay as Weequay runs up, and he just misses as Weequay gets over the lip of that hill there, and Weequay just survives on one little dot of health. The spray's coming back in at Levin. Levin's missing most of those bullets. Hermes still in pretty comfortable spot right now. Weequay trying to get the shot back down on him.
So unfortunately, as the flank has come out here from Limited Edition, they've secured those 2 kills onto, unfortunately, Mido and Binbei here. Shiro was already taken down earlier in the game, and Hermes is sole survivor for Reborn. They have to try get away, I would imagine, right now, and take their losses, as there's still 17 teams remaining. You have to now look at the score points and try secure points for your team in getting 3rd, 4th place.
Yeah, so we move down to sort of Lambenditas area here, and we do see Team Defeater, who got that 1 kill there, making a push in on King. King throwing the nades out, Nuke down to half health already, now right on 1 little chip. And Sabo goes down to King Fresh.
Fresh there taking his advantage on the side now against the side of Defeater, and we're gonna have to see how they perform here against the squad of King. They're trying to snipe out Bond, but it doesn't matter as they will lose themselves 2 members, and King secure 2 kills as we now move into 16 teams remaining. Phase 3 just about to hit right now, and a lot of teams in the center of the phase shift border with Totem, RS and Penta all fairly close to one another.
Yeah, and when this zone first popped, there was only 2 teams inside, and right now looks like a few people have made it towards the middle, and looks like some teams, for example Most Wanted, just playing it real safe down in that south there, and Penta also taking quite a safe position. If you look at Penta's formation, that's a triangle formation on 3 different peaks overlooking a T-junction. It might not be a bad place to be as people start to move around. I'm just hoping Mitchie can maybe get nearer this situation.
Unfortunately, the zone brutal as always to Penta as it moved just outside of that beautiful triangle against the T-junction there. As we say, Bigfoot, and now RS and Totem, the 2 teams in control here. King, BB Esports going to be joining into the fray, as well as the sole survivor of Equilibritas E-Sports there as well on the western side.
And we did see a member of Recast go down to the zone there, and the ranks is trying to gatekeep Peace and stop Recast making it in here. See what's Peace up to over there? Looting up his dead buddy's crate, that's what Peace is up to. But Naranx has got a shot on him, and I don't think Peace knows that Naranx is right there, and he's probably going to take quite a direct route to zone here.
I'm looking at BB Esports versus Qlash right now, as Qlash home in on the 2 remaining members of BB Esports, Hobby and Cobain. The grenade puts Ozzy down to about 1 HP right now, but Cobain returns with the return frag there, and it will be Rodanta going down to half health. Qlash now trying to circle around the 2 remaining members of BB Esports. Can they find themselves these 2 kills?
So was BB a full squad a second ago?
Unfortunately, BB got themselves sniped out earlier on, so it will be Kobe and Aussie. They do actually take a couple shots onto Moxus, returning the damage there. Totem also get a knock onto Penta, but here come Recast from the north side, potentially trying to 3rd man these fights and get a couple of points as the newbies into his second game.
We see Dark making an excellent flank around the back of BB here, so BB are completely surrounded right now. Ozzy does manage to down Moxus though.
Yeah, taking a look from BB's perspective. Here comes Ozzy, and that's straight down with the help of Qlash there from two sides. There was nowhere to run. And there goes one member of BB Esports, Cobain, the only survivor. Can he perhaps take them down here? He does have the height advantage. He has the stairs.
And Dark's just gone and mollied the entrance right now, and now they're taking shots from elsewhere. Oh.
As we say, Recast there, trying to third man this against Qlash, and with two members down, he's got to pick up that smoke grenade. He's now got a smoke in hand, but he's got to also be careful of the side of Qlash, who will yet to finish him off, and likely will. Here comes Dark up the staircase, but Kobe's now gone low already, and that's not what we want to see. Dark's got to try find it, but it doesn't matter, as Dark will find that final kill, and BB Esports go down in 14th place.
Qlash just dominating that little compound, but not with a free reign. They were put on their back foot a couple of times there by BB, and then Recast with the third party, but they're all still standing, and they did get those kills.
And these kills now matter as we see no full squad really inside the border as it moves relentlessly once again into the center. These teams now gonna start seeing them drop left, right, and center as they scramble their way into the border. As we now approach obviously phase 4 shift, the border's gonna start to hurt more and more.
Limited edition just getting bullied, but they're managing to survive. They're on tiny little bits of health here, and they did get a knock with a nade, but they don't have the time or the inclination to finish this off right now. And they could have pushed him as he crept away, but they missed that opportunity too, and I'm kind of hoping they heal up or run away right now, because they're just hanging around on extremely low health in an unsafe area miles from zone.
Exactly, here is it will actually be limited edition right on the edge of the zone, but Most Wanted getting a kill against Kensai here, and that's going to be what they need as they actually drop down to 2 members on COMEGETSOME here. Lynx and Harami, the only surviving members from their squad. Kensai and Times going down.
And yeah, it's looking like King, a clash with Throne, 2 of the top dogs as well. Totem completely surrounding RS. And is looking like I got a freeze there, buddy. Keep us posted on... yeah, Totem, please.
Totem it is, and this Totem are already on 4 kills right now. Flex does get a shot onto one soul, and the knock does come from Penta onto another member thereof. It looks like limited edition, and they are unfortunately going to go down. Limited edition do fall to the hands of Flex Gaming there as well. And AEQ on the western side could be the next kill for the side of Flex Gaming as well. But COMEGETSOME struggling against the border right now is also Penta and Qlash secure a kind of a wall formation here against COMEGETSOME. Totem on the low side as well against Rise, and we're going to have to see how they perform against this monster of a team, or RoyalSavage should I say, is they are actually now on the high ground, straight onto Alajam, but can he find a grenade straight onto Joker? Actually, Totem finds it instead on another member. And now they've managed to find a knock-up. Can they find a grenade over the team plays? But it's not going to be high enough. Totem trying their best right now against the side of RoyalSavage. One member down, but he has been resurrected now by his teammate. That will be Org getting that resurrection up. Predator on the other side, but we also have to see PROE as well. Unfortunately crashed into the edge, and that's not going to be great for them as they now unfortunately go down as well to the side of Rise. They will secure themselves a little bit more dominance there with the help of Lizman there on the edge, securing the flank here. But Totem have moved places. And aren't we back, buddy?
Yeah, we're just getting in now. Looking like throwing and dealing some damage in that kill feed as I load in.
They have indeed, and we actually have a look at Totem is repositioned, but Joker's on the flank, trying to find a reposition, trying to find an angle against Totem before we can get themselves reset up onto the high ground of the opposing hill. We're now going to be about height advantages here, but none of these teams realistically inside the border, and as they try and move in, King as well, another team that are going to try to attempt to set up positioning against both the sides of RoyalSavage and Totem.
I'm just stuck in the prison. I can't get out. I'm in prison, buddy.
Oh man, that's a shame. But thrown here as well, and Qlash move in with the vehicles on the edge of the border, and Penta, 2 members of Totem still to get them way into the border. 6 teams remaining. Qlash could be sniped out here by King Fresh. Can he find that knockup? Totem do find one to Penta. Qlash actually kill 1 member. We actually managed to get another kill on the board here. Now we see not coming and to Totem here as RS make their moves on round the side, and here comes RoyalSavage here as they manage to make their way up into the height advantage and up into the spaces of King right now, as we see a couple members on the high ground. Lisman as well as Joker on the edge of King. Can he pull out a 1v3 situation? Bond, Fresh, untouched, still alive.
King's 3-man teamwork really shining in this one. They've taken it to at least 4th place now with only 3 members, really proving us well, they're capable of, after a disappointing finish last time. They've probably stayed together a lot more in this game, and they're pretty close together right now in this final circle with only one other squad with them, and that is RS. They do need to deal with the RS situation before the other squads start pushing in, or they will be surrounded.
And we talk about surrounding teams. Qlash making them move up round the edge, and Chaperon here going to be one of these members, along with the help of Moxus, going to be trying to make the flank against King. Right, moving more members up against this 3-man force, which is the King's squad right now. They're now trying to find a knock-up, but Fresh goes down, and here comes the team fight as it plays out right now. King managed to find 1 kill onto RoyalSavage. They're potentially going to try and get another 2 before we go down, but Predator's still alive, and King now getting a 2nd kill onto another member of RoyalSavage, but now comes King, and actually the knockups from RoyalSavage in return. Takedown 2, takedown 3, and that will be RoyalSavage taking 3 kills from the side of King. It looked so good here, Bigfoot, but it does not matter as 2 teams remain. Qlash versus RoyalSavage, the 1v1 showdown.
So yeah, that was an absolutely beautifully cooked grenade there, which gave such a good advantage to King in that situation, getting 2 instant knocks. But as you saw, it was that RS position down on this rock here, out of sight of the main action, and just waiting patiently for the right time to counter-strike really did it for RS there. Unfortunately, losing a member as he went for some loot.
Round onto Moxus, but he can't quite find a kill as they do get sniped out, and that will be Qlash taking the chicken dinner.
Well done, Qlash. That's what I want to see. And that is a total of 9 kills for Qlash. That is great. And RS with that last little clutch play on 7. King proving their worth yet again with only 3-person squad making it to top 3 and 5 kills.
Exactly, and just Qlash really putting on the hurt, but King as well, a dominant game like we expected to see from King, as we see him take 3rd place with 5 kills. The King not looking so hot on the kills, but as a 3-man squad, getting 3rd place is what you want to see for your team. And also Totem and Penta, who got 2nd in the first game, securing 5th. Totem as well got high up there, securing 4th place. Consistency from these 2 teams also throwed, and Recast, we talked about these new teams coming in, securing themselves 7th place, but unfortunately with 0 kills.
Yeah, and you did say you're a fan of Qlash, so how are you feeling seeing them transfer? You said it also before, you mentioned VG. Could you just explain for the viewers that Qlash is also a what team?
Clash looking really dominant in Vainglory in that old game. But PUBG is the game that we're casting tonight here, Bigfoot. And looking dominant once again. And I talked about their teamwork is what they needed to work on. And as you see, when they make those squad moves, the individual skill comes out as a team and they secure themselves those kills as well as the chicken dinner. And in a very low kill game per team, looking at, as you say, those 9 kills for first place as well, 29 points is going to really boost them back up coming in to Sanhok in game number 3.
Yeah, Sanhok's going to be a great one. It's a good little map progression they've got for this. They've got classic Erangel. Then you go for the long sniper game with Miramar. You get your points ready for the last 2 games, and then Sanhok's just the spanner in the works, and anything can happen. It's just chaos in Sanhok.
Sanhok is all to play for in Vikendi as well to an extent here, Bigfoot. Another game as well that is going to be all to play for. The border going to be what we look at in that final game once again. And looking at these teams, it's still very open. And I expect the kill score and the point score overall from these first 2 games to really be looking at these teams very close together at the top and the left side of that leaderboard. It is going to be up to these teams not only on getting the points, but now getting the kills to boost themselves up in these final 2 games.
Yeah, and with the right team play and the right map movement, Sanhok is a place where you can get there's about 40 times 9, 36. There's around 76 players. A couple 3-person squads brings that down to like 73, 72, and it's pretty hard to wipe any more than a quarter of a lobby. I've seen it happen, but that's in a public game, and in a scrim you're not going to get much further than a quarter, but you're still talking about a quarter of this lobby being nearly 20, and it is possible with the right team play and movement around this map to rack up a 20 kill first place in Sanhok. We saw it once with an old DT team in a penetrate scrim, standing on the top of the hill in the last zone, wiping out team after team on their way in. And they finished on, I think it was 17, 18 kills in first place in Sanhok, and that was a smaller lobby than this one. It is not impossible. And we definitely have the world at our feet here, and everything can happen in this 3rd game.
We will just have to have a look and see how game number 3 and 4 takes place. But as we wait for game number 3, I think it does call for a little bit of a break right now as we rest up. Get your coffees, get your drinks ready, your teas, whatever snacks you're wanting, because the popcorn ready as the drama takes place, coming at you in 9 minutes time.
All right, see you in 9 minutes, guys. Thank you.
Oi, oi. It's that well sound. Trinity Lo-Fi.
Yo, here man, I'm here man, there's no man badder. Flow down data, so there's no man badder. Scan like a tramp with the madman, swagger get slapped with the hand and smashed with the hammer. Here man, I'm here man, there's no man madder. Flow down data, so there's no man badder. Scan like a tramp with the madman, swagger get slapped with the hand and smashed with the hammer. I jump on the head of a Cooper trooper, me I level up, bigger thought than a stupor. Stupid goof with the foot size super, shrooms getting brewed for the level up looper. Blooper with the mad paratrooper, big boss bass, 8-bit bass booster. Cheap with the chain jump tuners. Start war when I stomp on the goomba. Did a rhyming zone, dry bones when you're not that hide from the spike throws. And I got flows, sick from the get-go. Fire jump, shot from the electro. Boom boom, pulling it back. Body boo drops with the bullet bill raps. Sledge bros, stomp on that. Bigger boss with the thumping trap. I'm here, man, there's no man madder. Flow down data, so there's no man badder. Scan like a tramp with the madman. Swagger get slapped with the hand and smashed with the hammer. Here, man, I'm here, man, there's no man madder. Flow down data, so there's no man badder. Scan like a tramp with the madman. Swagger get slapped with the hand, smashed with the hammer. Roll that, smoke that, coke that, bubble hash, double in my jaws. I'll be suckling on double cast, fast on double dash. Gank in the bubble bath, fuckers get double knuckle smashed with a muckle. Raft muggles get murdered, like a berserker. Searched all the earth for a wife that's absurder. Base surfer, cuddling the burger. Huddle with the penguins, muddling the birders. Super smash all these stupid rap wankers. Leave them flat on their face like a planker. Talking of whores, no thought in their banter. Women ought to be more than your brander. They ain't bankers, don't know gangsters. Talking their cash, but it's all propaganda. Raise your standards, raise up the anchor. Can't walk the walk, you get kicked like a camper. Here, man, there's no man madder. Flow down data, so there's no man badder. Scan like a tramp with the madman. Swagger get slapped with the hand and smashed with the hammer. Here, man, there's no man madder. Flow down data, so there's no man badder. Scan like a tramp with the madman. Swagger get slapped with the hand, smashed with the hammer.
Here, man, there's no man madder. Flow down data, so there's no man badder. Scan like a tramp with the madman. Swagger get slapped with the hand and smashed with the hammer. Here, man, there's no man madder. Flow down data, so there's no man badder. Scan like a tramp with the madman. Swagger get slapped with the hand, smashed with a hammer.
Comegit original, pixel man. Confuman, El Joan, Ring Sound, Ichiban. Yakuza, bam, bam, je suis le bomberman qui te coupe la tête comme un barbarian. Bac, je t'avale comme Pac-Man. Mets de la place dans ta face en mode Megaman.
What's in your water? What's in the images they're showing to your daughter? Did they teach us? Did they leech us? Whilst they feed us, greed and deceive us? What's in your food? What's in your water? What's in the images they're showing to your daughter? Did they teach us? Did they leech us? Whilst they feed us, greed and deceive us?
She's seen a magazine, but in the mirror she don't see what she has to be. Actually, brains been cracked, man, them dastardly plans to be making up cash. Perfection deceiving, makeup staining your face so you need it. They made up a lie and the maidens believe it, faking an act on a stage with the Egypts. What poisoned you more, the poison in thoughts or the poison in pores? And if a boy wants you made up or more, tell him vacate my life, you be making me bored.
You deserve much more than this. Strip back the shell and you'll find your gift. Put distractions on surface, you're certain to burden your search for the perfect prince.
Calcium, sulfate, magnesium, sodium, potassium, manganese, iron, aluminium, nitrates, phosphorus, copper and zinc. Maybe some lead if you've got a Victorian sink. Chlorine, fluoride, pesticides, you can find all of these substances in certain water supply. Some stuff gets added in them, some filtered out, but we don't think on that, we tell them children drink it
down.
So how'd you manufacture consent when the people on their profiles are setting the trends? Make an algorithm, get in their heads and tell them through a thumbnail that they better be stressed. Cause it's easier to rule scared people who don't want it shared equal. Folk who won't prepare for the sequel. Folks who don't care if they're complicit with evil. Let's stop listening to fetal. No retrieval.
Coming from allotments. It's a lot, this decomposted nonsense. I've deeper roots than these plonkers, so watch this. What's this? It's the lo-fi, make you flop quick. Soiled feet, oily beach, toddler hobbling through. You best watch what you say and watch what you do. Cause there's eyes on the walls that be watching you. Ears in the microbes, listening to. Made a dub for you. Well, made the wicked witch of West melt. Dispelling all of that spells. Dispelling all the lies that she sells.
Front page, here comes the fun again. Black and white, is their right hook and pomegranate. Page 3 makes them come again. And the plastic actors, they program the sun again. What's in your food? What's in your water? What's in the images they're showing to your daughter? Did they teach us? Did they leech us? Whilst they feed us, greed and deceive us? What's in your food? What's in your water? What's in the images they're showing to your daughter? Did they teach us? Did they leech us? Whilst they feed us, greed and deceive us?
Sugar burada. Sugar burada.
Oi.
Sugar burada. Malago do.
Down. Don't believe the hype. Don't read what they write. Read between the lines. Seek the truth at night. Dive inside your mind. Find a dream and rise up high. Be lucid in this mind trap. Or you're stupid and your mind suck.
What's in your food? What's in your water? What's in the images they're showing to our daughters?
Pump up the volume, pump up the volume. 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 Pump up the volume, pump up the volume.
With the bomb skin.
Conquered the rhythm with the style again.
With the bomb skin.
Man, it's bad man rap from the pad and pen.
With the bomb skin.
Babylon's burning, Babylon's dead.
With the bomb skin.
And we march with the rhythm with the rubber job then. We bring a rhythm rather with a bit of chitter chat, a bit of batter, bigger badder.
Pump up the volume.
We here to deal with matter, business system getting mad, jibber jabber spitting knackers.
Jump when we rock you.
Flowing and flowing and sowing seeds so positive. Go with the flow and know we free when we dropping it. Fighting the right and the control of the minds. We drive your eyes from the night and bring them light from the opposite. Guess the rhythm hit it hot when I drop them bombs. With atomic bomb drops, yeah we smash it like gongs. Bring down the man when we jam these songs. Cause we're conscious from day one. Monsters flee when we drop a fat beat. Man it's well sound and the biggest of the feet. Trinity giving me a reason to be. Flow through hell till the day that I'm deed.
Hey buddy, you there?
I am here in the third game here on Sanhok. And if you haven't joined us already for the first two games, the scoreboard is still looking really tight right now against the entire top 5-6 teams. Looking like Totem, like Penta, like new teams like PROE going to be right up tight in contention here. Bigfoot as we move into our third game. New teams, old teams alike going to be doing well each nonetheless.
Yeah, and there's not much space to hide in Sanhok, and as if especially with a faster zone, yeah, it's just going to close in and we're going to see constant action.
And definitely as we see the plane path drop and the looks like a very generous playing path once again, 3 games in a row, getting quite lucky here, if I do say so myself, Bigfoot, and goes straight over the quarry, straight over boot camp, and as well an option there for the ruins, another area there as well, and also Paradise Resorts going to be available for these teams, as well as the north side in these lower small village areas of the third game, such as Tatmok, such as KO and Hatton, and even Camp Alpha if the border would decide to shift there.
Yeah, I was expecting quite a hot Paradise there, but PROE just went to various different compounds, and looks like all the squads that are avoiding Paradise and landing up in Cal here, all 3 of them are going to be in for a surprise.
Does look like we have a couple teams moving towards Camp Alpha. We have AEQ as well as Qlash. Qlash, the chicken dinner of the first game here, as well as we actually see 2 more teams. We see actually looking like it will be COMEGETSOME, as well as for Mercy going to be moving further into the south of Camp Alpha and trying to get those loots on board for their teams and for their squads against each other. King on the north side as well, another good team, but not contested as well at Hatton.
So that was quite an interesting drop there. I'm really impressed to see a few of these teams landing in 1-1-1 split. You've got PROE and Totem completely split up, but it won't take them long to get together. Penta is in a 1-1-1 split too, as well, up in the northeast side. And this is a method to avoid the hot drops, because people sometimes don't really think outside the box and they just land anywhere on the map that has a name on it. But you can land in any of those little compounds on the map, and if you have it arranged like PROE did, which is an amazing little drop there, 4 compounds right next to each other, and then they all loot up themselves, and now they're already pushing people to the outer edges of the zone. They seem to have looted straight up, and PROE are just straight on that push.
PROE unrelenting here, but COMEGETSOME actually going to get a couple snipers in against themselves there. Shots going each way on the west side of the map, but also to say it will be Penta losing one. Mickey going to likely go down to PROE right now.
Penta losing 2. All together now. They see that. So a really impressive tactic from PROE there. Get that loot in those separate compounds, those safe drops, and just get straight on the pushing. But I would have advised that tactic to have stayed in the first half of itself. You know, loot up, then keep staying safe and looting up. This arrogant push out to the side has backfired on them, and they are going down left, right, and center. But Throne have joined the party as well, and it's Flex, PROE, and Throne all in this tight situation here. KZS.
We're gonna have to have a look here. Flex do actually manage to secure 1 kill, and that will be them flushing out the members of it. Looks like Penta. Penta lose 1 more. Now Penta, 1 member already, and not great for a squad that has been consistent with top 5 finishes so far in the first 2 games. 1 member surviving very quickly here. Make that 0 as they do get taken down by Panic as well, and that will be a really highly contested team and a very good skill team out in 19th place.
And PROE managed to get those revs back in, so it was looking like Throne didn't know the knocks had happened. They knocked the team that knocked PROE, so they were busy in their own little world, and that ignorance managed to buy PROE the time to get everyone back up, and they're going back to the first half of the plan of being in the slightly safer areas of this map until they're properly looted up, because it does seem like Stay might be healing just on bandages right now, which isn't exactly ideal.
And something I didn't see before just yet was actually Qlash losing 2 members down. It perhaps looked like it could have been AEQ who were the perpetrators of this with 2 kills on the board themselves. But Qlash, the chicken dinner, with only 2 remembering members here on the board, Leo and Mox's Dark Shadow in it, already down. It looks like Throne also only 1 member surviving as the Titans left and right here fall,
Yeah.
each all over the map.
Yeah, the flex going out. Totem gets a knock too, though, on themselves. That will be Ale Jab down.
It looks like the Theta trying to take the team of Throne out of the game here, but Totem. They're now moving in is a 4 squad. Also, we have to look at the Orion Nebula, 1 member caught in the crossfire right now, but as well, the Theta will be Orion Nebula losing that member, and will be Orion Nebula now 1 remaining survivor. They actually managed to get a kill as well onto one of the members of Totem, make that 2, as it will be them actually securing another kill, and that will be backfire from the side of Universe onto members, getting them while they're in the water, and vulnerable Totem after retreat with 2 losses.
Absolutely surrounded here. They're going to quickly try and rev Versace, but Defeater under a lot of pressure right now. Luckily, most of that pressure is on the other side of the river, and they do have a little bit of time, and that pressure might be distracted by Wasted. What is Wasted up to right now? Yeah, Wasted just crawling towards this situation. Maybe going to get the third party in on Universe and save Defeater's backside here.
Sunshot behind the wall, though, does have an angle against the side of S4BO. And we'll have to see if he can find that sniper over the rock, but Sunshot gets shot instead, and that will be him going down to about half health.
Wasted is just leaving this situation right now. Definitely can't deal with 7 players by yourself.
As well, Recast versus BB right now. The zone brutal as these 2 teams fight.
Yeah, I was just over there a second ago, and that action has just finished, it looks like. It does look like Recast came out on top there. Well done.
Recast, a new team taking down BB Esports with all 4 members alive, and this seems to be the night for PROE and Recast. These 2 new teams coming into the Brute Scrims and showing these remaining teams, these remaining players here, and who have been the veterans of Brute Scrims, how it is done. We see Recast there just trying to escape the border, heal himself back up as they successfully disengage back in to the play zone. But the play zone, speaking of which, is for half of it, I would say here, in the water.
Yeah, that river could be a bit of a tricky situation for the last zones. It's going to create this area that King is currently into a hot spot. And Reborn here, having that long-range battle with King. There's been shots landed on both sides, but I do think King have landed a few more so far. But it's not about damaging, it's about fully taking out, and a little bit of damage isn't going to put them too far on their back foot right now. Does look like King are already repositioning from this conflict. They're just heading a bit further north, maybe. What's Untouch up to? Untouch does almost go down.
We're going to have a look at Untouched and just see how they play out right now. But as well, looking at the side of King, moving around against the side of Most Wanted. Generally here, Untouched taking his way around into the territory of Most Wanted from behind against ads. He has to be careful though of the side of Reborn if they do choose to move north. Come closer north side, then King actually Bond going to be up against COMEGETSOME right now, as taking the fight to themselves as well, but Bond getting sniped by Lakes, and Lakes will manage to get the knock up. And Bond separated far from his team. We could see deja vu from game number 1 as he does go down.
Yeah. I'm not sure what Untouched was doing in the field there. As 2 members went north, he was kind of just jumping around in the field trying to get some last shots on Reborn, but it was not really called for. And yeah, and definitely one of their members overextended, and now it's only 2 of them trying to take on all of MW as COMEGETSOME do pull in from the west as well.
COMEGETSOME taking advantage in the map on the edge of the border as it moves once again closer, but more generously removing the ocean from play and instead keeping the land as we see more teams make their way into the play zone. Qlash on the west side as well with Recast AEQ, and as well we see Universe moving in behind two members of Recast in the bottom.
And that will be PROE shooting up a flare in this small zone. I like it.
Totem could be going down right now with only one remaining member against the squad of Universe in the south of the map right now. Totem, the winner of last week's Brute Scrims, not had a very promising week unfortunately this week with only 3 kills, 3 members down already, and wasted the only sole survivor. Disappointing game in terms of kills tonight for the team here as Universe push closer and put the pressure in against this remaining member. You see in the middle though, it looks like King trying to pull this back with an advantage here, but we have to also have a look at how PROE move around in this drop right in the center. We also see RoyalSavage and Reborn taking advantage of these areas south.
Yeah, Reborn haven't had to change position. They're still just comfy on that high ground compound. Everyone's a big fan of that compound, me especially. And King did try and push in on PROE there, managed to deal quite a bit of damage, but PROE got that retreat straight back out to the compound, and looking like the crate is going to be quite out in the open now, and it's going to be anyone's crate, really.
This could be vital for these teams here as PROE try to perhaps make moves and not only close to this crate, but it is King untouched who's trying to open it up. Here we see the movement coming around from this team. Can we find perhaps a knock-up, a contention between these two teams over this loot drop right now? Reborn, PROE actually going to get sniped out for Din, getting almost shot down fully, but does make it into safety and into cover just in time from these southern teams. And speaking of teams crossing over, COMEGETSOME looking like Kensai in a really dangerous spot right now against 4 members of Aequilibritas.
Yeah, very sketchy for COMEGETSOME there, and the zone's done quite a hard easterly shift, so COMEGETSOME, Aequilibritas, Recast, nearly everyone's going to make that shift east.
Another drop here as well. It could be contested with RoyalSavage versus the side of the Theta. 2 members versus the 4 for RoyalSavage right now on this loot dropping. Loot drop's going to be so vital. Perhaps have the snipers, the level 3 helmets that you need to defend against those one shots coming out from the top guns.
Yeah, you really do need those helmets in a scrim like this. It's level 1, level 2 helmets just not going to cut it against a AWM or M4. And Qlash getting a couple kills on the way to zone here, but being caught unawares and being left. And yeah, he's still raking in those points now. It's good for Qlash. Mafia does go down. Fishnik just hiding behind that rock there. I do think Leo does want to make it to zone right now, though.
Leo needs to keep his team alive. Still 13 teams remaining. Teams that go down now will not perform great in terms of these game points now coming into teams, but with only a couple members inside the border, Paradise Resort still importantly in play. Panic have taken control of that and are resting right now as the rest of the teams on the west side of Sanhok make their way into safety.
Yeah, I did just arrive there a second too late, but Defeat did just manage to get a whole squad wipe there. Not sure who that was, but I definitely saw a bunch of people go out on the map as I came zooming in. King still surviving, 2 members of King surviving, and Heating right up untouched there.
Libertas going up against members. King trying to get that knock up onto one member of Equilibritas here. We also see Reborn going up against COMEGETSOME as they do go out, COMEGETSOME will be in 12th place. But we see Reborn versus PROE. PROE, one of these teams that have been so dominant so far. Can they take down Reborn as they try and make it their way into the border?
I think it's important to note Team Panic as well. Kind of went under the radar for the first 3 games. I think they all might be another one of the new members for this game tonight. And they're sitting comfortable in a 4-person squad at the edge of zone there with no threats around them, really.
Looks like PROE really dominating positions here of Reborn, and unfortunately as they lose one more member, choked at the border there, Mido, the only remaining survivor for this team. But still 8 teams now left. We've seen a lot of drops right now as well in its last 1 minute here in the game, as King still alive, getting Aequilibritas down as well. Pro EU, as I say, taking Reborn out. Universe managed to clean that 1 kill up, and now Pro EU straight back into another fight, but Din going straight immediately down, as we do see the side of Defeater. 2 members, they just obliterate immediately one of the members of Pro EU, as we have to move to another here, and looks like Pro EU now getting surrounded and normally also down. Stay on 2 kills, the only member up. If he goes down right now, it will be the end of Pro EU's dreams. 5 teams remaining right now. Here come Panic coming out as well. King down to 1 member. He's trying to reposition with 5 kills. Can he pull out the chicken dinner for his team? We'll have to see. Pro E, the grenade coming out. He stands up. Can he find Anomaly? He does manage to get the shot, and that will be now 1 left for Pro E, as King still alive.
Wow, and King just healing up now. Excellent work.
6 kills right now for King, as MW Most Wanted make their way forward. 3 members. Panic, the only team with a full squad, but only 1 kill on the board. They're going to have to try get more kills to boost not only their game score, but their overall score here as well. Here, Bigfoot, we also see, looks like King moving once again further in. 6 kills remaining, only King left with 1 member, but can he find one of the side of Universe? He's trying to go round, but unfortunately gets sniped out, outplayed. Goal touch, taking that kill, but in return, Pro E managing to take down 1 more, and now Stay managing to keep his team alive, his dreams alive in 3rd place. But can he take down more members of Most Wanted? Can he take down more members of Panic? We'll just have to find out and see.
So Stay there on the 3rd party of that little solos. There was 3 solos left, and they had a very nice little polite meet up at the edge of zone there and sorted it out to only let 1 solo into the last circle. And we do have Most Wanted here trying to take on a full team of Panic, and I'm not sure what's going to happen here, as we do have the solo 3rd party, the wild card in amongst this whole situation. And it does look like Batman is just bleeding out and out and out, and Josh doesn't want to do too much about that. It is too risky, so it is a 1v4v1 situation.
Panic take that kill on the board, making it 2 now. A 2v4 situation. This could be great for Panic as they try and move into MW, but they can't be too aggressive right now. Halo now trying to make moves up against Senso and Josh. The border now moving in. Stay and MW need to make the moves into the border. Should it close in further? Should we stay alive a little bit longer in Sanhok right now? We are 19 minutes into the game. Phase 7 shift on the border is going to be brutal. Josh almost going straight down through the smoke cloud.
Blind shots.
Can he find it? Onto Halo, Josh does get the knock up in return. Here comes Senso trying to finish it off behind the tree, but he can't quite find that kill. And now, with Josh down low and with Senso there as well, we have to try and make moves around. Panic just obliterated by the side of Most Wanted, and Stay there on the side. Stay with now 6 kills. They got too aggressive here, and this is a 1v2 showdown. Panic have lost all hope in this 3rd game, as now it will be, as I say, 1v2, 2 teams remaining and all to play for.
Yeah, stay really pulling out with the third party there. We see this in the last zone quite often. If you're the only one standing of your team, you need to get the timing right. Pick apart a team that's on its back foot, and that's exactly what he did. He picked them apart piece by piece, but Senso is making that push in. Senso goes down.
Can he find the second? Josh is the only one alive, but Senso and versus Stay will be the final knock-up here. Josh, can he find that return kill? Stay behind the trees going in. Can he find it? It does not matter. As we will have to see, too close to call. It will be MW.
Josh's drop shot.
He managed to find it, and that will be PROE in second place, Panic in third.
So that was an excellent, excellent final circle there for Most Wanted. Beautiful stuff. I did think Josh had it there walking out into the open when it could have been tree versus tree, but he enticed him out. He enticed him out and then did the drop shot, avoiding the spray, and shot him in his shins and brought him down for victory. Beautiful stuff from Josh there.
Exactly, and Josh is absolutely playing a top-tier PUBG Mobile right now with that drop shot against the side of PROE. But PROE have been phenomenal here, Bigfoot, in the first 3 games. And looking into Vikendi, the final game here as well, we expect no less from this team. They have been dominant time and time again. All top 5 finishes, top 2 finish right now in game number 3 with 8 kills. 6 kills on Stay as he obliterated and teared apart in the meat grinder of that gun Panic, as they unfortunately did not take that chicken dinner with a full squad. An epic final showdown.
Yeah, how did that full squad get wiped so easily? It's the third party clutch. You just can't escape it once you're on your back foot and he's out there. You don't even, no idea he's there. For as far as they were concerned, it was a 3-person squad and it was coming towards them and that's who they were fighting. But no, he was out on the side waiting for the time to strike and he timed it perfectly and just cleaned up the rest of Panic there. Who did excellent, though, might I say, to make it to that last circle. Really good positioning throughout that whole map for them.
Exactly here, and looking at the teams here as well, Bigfoot, we also have to acknowledge just how good actually King have done with 3 members. Another top 5 finish with a beautiful looking 6 kills on Fresh as well. So despite only having 3 members, their positioning through these 2 games, and despite the fact that Bond went down, Fresh managing to carry it as best as he could before he goes down to the snipes, as we say, to PROE, and as well to the side of Universe, who unfortunately did take him down. Universe as well, securing himself a 4th place. And these new squads, as I say time and time again, Bigfoot, are going to be the teams we have to look at. Impressive stuff coming from every single one of them tonight.
Yeah, we've just been talking about that in the clan chat and on Discord as well. Like, there was a new squad came into our clan scrims last night, and I saw them. They went to a central mountain in Miramar about 14 minutes before the end of the game. And they didn't have to move again. They just sat there waiting. There was only 2 of them left as well. And they finished in 1st place with 17 kills because the zone just closed in around their little mountain. And everyone just kept on coming towards them. We had Gods of Greece, one of our strongest squads in that game, pull up on a buggy and just get wiped in milliseconds. And this was a brand new team coming in and dominating with surprise action. And we do see this quite a lot in a lot of scrims. The new team comes in with some slightly irregular tactics to what everyone else in the scrim is used to seeing, and they get the domination in their hands. But can they keep that momentum up as people watch back on the stream, consider their actions, consider their tactics, and think of the counter tactics?
And we'll have to see this coming out from these other teams, because time and time again we talk about the adaptability of these teams, and we also talk about the ability to team fight and the ability to move around the map once again. It needs teams who can move around as squads, but carefully around the map and not get taken out. We talked about King, unfortunately, not having a great couple games tonight, but we'll have to see how they perform in Vikendi. Vikendi, one of these maps that can just go anywhere for any team. As I say, we saw last week. If you've not checked it out on Bigfoot's YouTube channel, go check it out as soon as the stream is done, because it was an insane border shift and wiped out brutally the entire side of all of those teams on the east. But as well as that, some epic snipe down action. In looking at these scrims, it's going to be up for these teams not only just to play well, but to look back at these scrims and to also understand what they're doing wrong and how they can improve for next week.
Yeah, it's definitely a good learning ground watching the videos back. They might not get all the screen time they need to learn from, but they can find out roughly what happened. It's good for them to also be recording their screens and looking back on it. You know, one of the biggest things in advancing as a chess player is going over mistakes you've made in previous games. You need to have every single move recorded. And you might have seen in chess tournaments how they have a notepad and they're taking their notes as they make each move. It's so as soon as the game is finished, they can go back and look at the mistakes they made. And if you want to be reaching that high tier in esports like PUBG, which are heavily tactic based, it's not just about how good you are at pointing and shooting, it's about how good you are at moving around the map as a team as well. You need to be looking back and identifying the mistakes and working on them.
And that's what we expect. And just like the Grandmasters in chess, the Grandmasters of PUBG Mobile need to be thinking not just about the moves, but the counter moves against these other teams. How do our teams play? How do they like to play? How's their map strengths? What maps are they strong at? What kind of guns are they strong at? Are they more snipers with an M4, for example, on Sanhok? Or do they like to play more up close and personal with the other teams? This is what teams have to be looking out at, as these are only scrims. This is the training ground, the proving ground to move up to PMCO.
Yeah, and having an encyclopedic knowledge of your enemies is another way chess grandmasters get far, and another way you can get far in PUBG. But it's pretty tricky to keep a tally on everyone that's involved. But once you're in a PMCO setting, you can. There's only a certain amount of teams to keep track of, and you can see them in the kill feed. Right, that's them gone. We can now behave like this. For example, if you know that there's a serious a squad that love breaching. They love pulling in on those compounds, smashing it with grenades and mollies, and breaching that compound down and taking it from you. If they're gone, you might know it's a better time to go and take that particular compound. But this is a huge amount of attention span required to what players and what teams are left in the game, as well as what you're doing at that time.
Exactly, not all about just running in, guns blazing, and taking down the compounds. As you say, it's about, as you mentioned, these counter moves and how these teams play, looking at who's remaining on the map. But as we take a little bit of a break, we will be back in about 5 minutes, guys, as we come back to our final game. Vikendi, all to play for a lot of these teams, and Vikendi, a brutal map sometimes, so make sure you stay tuned for that.
Yep, 5 minutes time and we will be back. Thank you very much, Highland Wolf.
What's in your water? What's in the images they're showing to your daughter? Did they teach us? Did they leech us? Whilst they feed us, greed and deceive us? What's in your food? What's in your water? What's in the images they're showing to your daughter? Did they teach us? Did they leech us? Whilst they feed us, greed and deceive us?
She's seen a magazine, but in the mirror she don't see what she has to be. Actually, brains been cracked, man, them dastardly plans to be making up cash. perfection deceiving. Makeup staining your face so you need it. They made up a lie and the maidens believe it. Faking an act on a stage with the Egypts. What poisoned you more? The poison in thoughts or the poison in pores? And if a boy wants you made up or more, tell him vacate my life, you be making me bored.
You deserve much more than this. Strip back the shell and you'll find your gift. Put distractions on surface, you're certain to burden your search for the perfect prince.
Calcium, sulfate, magnesium, sodium, potassium, manganese, iron, aluminium, nitrates, phosphorus, copper and zinc. Maybe some lead if you've got a Victorian sink. Chlorine, fluoride, pesticides, you can find all of these substances in certain water supplies. Some stuff gets added in them, some filtered out, but we don't think on that, we tell them children drink it down. So how'd you manufacture consent when the people on their profiles are setting the trends? Make an algorithm, get in their heads and tell them through a thumbnail that they better be stressed. Cause it's easier to rule scared people who don't want it shared. Equal folk who won't prepare for the sequel. Folks who don't care if they're complicit with evil. Let's stop listening to fetal. No retrieval.
Coming from allotments, it's a lot, this decomposted nonsense. I've deeper roots than these plonkers, so watch this. What's this? It's the lo-fi, make you flop quick. Soiled feet, oily beach, toddler hobbling through. You best watch what you say and watch what you do, cause there's eyes on the walls that be watching you. Ears in the microbes, listening too. Made a dub for you, well, made the wicked witch of West, Mel. Dispelling all of that spells, dispelling all the lies that she sells.
From page, here comes the fun again. Black and white, is their right hook and come again. Page 3 makes them come again. And the plastic actors, they program the sun again. What's in your food? What's in your water? What's in the images they're showing to your daughter? Did they teach us? Did they leech us? Whilst they feed us, greed and deceive us? What's in your food? What's in your water? What's in the images they're showing to your daughter? Did they teach us? Did they leech us? Whilst they feed us, greed and deceive.
Sugar burada. Sugar burada.
Oi.
Sugar burada. Malago do.
Don't believe the hype. Don't read what they write. Read between the lines. Seek the truth at night. Dive inside your mind. Find a dream and rise up high. Be lucid in this mind trap, or you're stupid and your mind suck.
What's in your food? What's in your water? What's in the images they're showing to our daughters?
Pump up the volume, pump up the volume. 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 Pump up the volume, pump up the volume.
With the bomb skin. Conquered the rhythm with the style again. With the bomb skin. Man, it's bad man raps from the pad and pen. With the bomb skin. Babylon's burning, Babylon's dead. With the bomb skin. And we march with the rhythm with the rubber job then. We bring a rhythm rather with a bit of chitter chat, a bit of batter, bigger batter.
Pump up the volume.
We here to deal with matter, business system, getting mad, jibber jabber, spitting knackers. Going and flowing and sowing seeds so positive. Go with the flow and know we free when we dropping it. Fighting the right and the control of the minds. We drive your eyes from the night and bring them light from the opposite. Guess the rhythm hit it hot when I drop them bombs with atomic bomb drops. Yeah, we smash it like gongs. Bring down the man when we jam these songs, cause we're conscious from day one. Monsters flee when we drop a fat beat. Man, it's well sound and the biggest of the feet. Trinity giving me a reason to be.
follow through hell till the day that I'm dead. With the bomb skin. Conquered the rhythm with the style again. With the bomb, with the bomb skin. Man, it's bad man raps from the pad and pen. With the bomb, with the bomb skin. Babylon's burning, Babylon's dead. With the bomb, with the bomb skin. Man, we're marching the rhythm with the rubber dub then.
With the low-fi imagery, the trinity is set. Grab a set of decks, wordplay, remedy my stress. Got the zone, high activity, my lingual speech is set. Delivery is wizardry, a season for effect. Will you pick up on the frequencies or speeches it affects? The fundamentals equally and peacefully gets blessed. Got recently these symphonies are easily directed. The symphony of soundscapes, the trinity is next. With the sky high epiphany, we trickle through the clouds. Get it down, make it loud, let us play that to the crowd. In this industry, it's difficult, beginners till you finish. So we sitting and chilling and spitting on the list. In the middle of the easy winners. Gotta work for your craft and your words. Make your act, don't come back to react. Let it curve, must attack. Make your purpose your fact and your curse to your laugh.
Okay, and we are back for the final game of the evening. Are you with us, Highland Wolf?
I am.
He is.
I am with you.
I was about to say, no, he's not.
Around the car.
Yeah, how's that car working out for you, buddy? You getting some dogging on the go?
I tell you what, the lighting is ever changing, man. Ever changing lighting here, and within 10 minutes, it's completely gone dark around me here so fast over here in Scotland. How's it looking for you outside right now yourself?
Yeah, well, Newcastle, we're not too far from Scotland, and it's pretty dark already. Yeah, it's closed in, but it's alright. We don't need to get the webcams back up for the last end of the last match. Should be fine. If you're all in pitch black there, don't worry about it.
Yeah, there was nothing much to see by the end of Vikendi. And talking about closing in, Vikendi, the final game of tonight, and really all to play for once again. I say for these teams, and the playing path looking really interesting right now for these teams as well, going towards the side of Cosmodrome, but also Dobro Mesto, Dino Park, gonna be these types of places, the Villa as well, Mount Kresnik, even to an extent, Critches, we see teams moving towards as well.
I'm not liking the look of 3 teams closing in on Villa right now. You know me and Villa, mate. I don't like that place, and I don't think more than one squad should ever land there.
Villa, one of these areas on the map, but could go anywhere for these teams, but we actually see it looks like, thankfully, the Features here are going to be the only team right now, so we're not going to be seeing too crazy of an action happening right now in the early game in Vikendi, but we have to look around the other map at these locations here in Cosmodrome. Importantly, we see King here as well as the side of Flex, and interestingly enough, we actually see King Bond on another team versus the rest of his members jumping in. So we do see a returning 4-man squad for King, but not all on the same team.
Oh, sorry, did you just say one member of King's in the wrong squad?
Yeah, he's in his own squad. He's in his solo squad right now.
Oh, what? Oh yeah, and he's actually dropped with them. They started the game without him in the right slot. That is too funny. We did have an early knock as well from Limited Edition on a BB Esports, and it looks like Aussie is unrelenting with the revenge on that, and Aussie has came zooming back in with the Uzi to where his member was knocked. He's actually came in with no helmet and no armor, and he's already getting the revenge on Limited Edition. That is Ven out.
That will be, as we say, Limited Edition wipes. And Limited Edition not had a great 4th game, unfortunately, here on Vikendi. But we do see BB Esports now moving in. We also see PROE getting knocks and come get some as well, as we see a couple knocks once again, a second onto come get some here as well. And we see the side of BB Esports just completely have decimated, as you say, the side of Limited Edition.
I do like Freiteller's position here for PROE, standing on this little bit of cover out on the side. If they make a movement, he should be able to catch them. Stays making a movement in as well. And yeah, come get some versus PROE. This could be an interesting fight, huh?
Yeah, and both of these teams need to get these points on, but Come Get Some could deny major point advantage from PROE right now. This is their chance to get themselves up on the leaderboard and take down one of the top teams tonight. Can they do it? They do not manage as a grenade comes out from Stave there onto Lynx through the door. He manages to find one, but Times and Kenside there. We talked about Kenside in game number 1, his ability to snipe around these teams. Times going around trying to get a jump shot over the wall, but can't quite find it. Stay on the other side. Can he find this kill? He couldn't find it against Most Wanted in game number 3, but can he find it in game number 4 here? As we see one fall down here, unfortunately, against the gate. He's trying to finish him off, but Stay still alive. Can he find Times over the gate? No, he cannot. These teams still moving round, and Stay still alive, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's absolutely swamped from the flank there. There wasn't much to be done, unfortunately. And can PROE be stopped tonight? Not yet, they cannot. I love it.
PROE are putting on a clinic right now against these teams as they wipe one of the more veteran teams. We see in the North, though, Zabava. 3 teams here, Totem, Recast, and Penta, all together.
Bond isn't in the fight. Maybe he's been told to leave the game. I'm not sure what the crack is, but it's not ideal having one member not actually in the squad. So yeah, Bond might have been told to exit the game right now.
Looks like Recast as well, fighting right now against Totem. Fox on his last legs with only bandages there to help him. Smoke comes down. Totem trying to close in on this member. Can this Fox sneak around the side of Totem and get a couple kills? Here comes Wasted from the backside, and Fox will go immediately down. And Wasted secures that kill. And once again, it looks like the side of Totem Esports putting on dominant performance.
I'm Wasted as a man after my own heart right now, playing TPP and FBP. I love to do that too, buddy. I'm always on that flex. I'm starting to feel sick looking at TPP in game.
As Totem here make their way up the stairs to the rest of Recast. They have to be careful going for the flank. They have spotted Peace there on the flank side. Almost could get a shot in. But Peace no longer with his team. His team dead. And out of Vikendi, we see a dominant early game performance here from Totem as well, as they eliminate one team almost completely, and side of Penta not choosing to get involved either.
Recast just didn't have time to loot up there. I mean, Peace doesn't even have a helmet or armor on right now.
Yeah, here comes. There's no way that he can escape. Did not even realize that they were in the building with him, and that will be the side of Recast out in 14th place. The tables are already turning for teams in this final game, and now Totem versus Penta. If Penta manage to take down Totem right now, this will be massive for their team.
Yeah, excellent little position for Mitchie as well, right up here with a view on that whole building. I would even be jumping across onto that building and just watching the exits, because they can't shoot you from in there. But Wasted does have that side position as well. Wasted could get an angle on Mitchie when he's peeking, but Mitchie is close enough to hear most of these footsteps and keep a rough location of most of these players right now.
That is truly, really the only team fight going on right now in the map, but a tense one at that, as we see Duxon here as well on the flank side, on the outside, covering the side of Senyo's flank here. Senyo, pardon, here on the edge of the rock. Penta going to have to try pull out the plays here on Vikendi against Totem, a team that were the winners of last week's Brute Scrims. Totem equally looking for the points here in this final game. They've spotted, I believe, Penyo behind the rock. They look like they're holding that Molotov there on Alajab, perhaps going to try chuck it out there. Chris as well, going to chuck one right onto the side of Benyo. How does he fare in this zone? Not going to quite reach, unfortunately, against him.
Yeah,
still
and the thing about
healthy.
Molotovs is you can see where they came from. Grenade's slightly harder to catch with your vision, but because the Molotov's flaming, you can see its source and you can see the window they're in. Chris
Michi making the plays. He jumps between buildings there now. Repositioning against Wasted. He's trying to go for the shots, but he can't quite find it as revealed his positioning now, as perhaps Penta make these moves in. The call to action has occurred, and here comes Benyo from behind the rock, but he's going to be knocked down, unfortunately.
Yeah, Mitchie really moving to the position I wanted him to be in. I'm thankful that maybe he can hear the stream. No, excellent play. That's where you want to be right now. And Wasted has gone down. Benyo might get bled out. The shots come back in at Yoga, and that is some beautiful gunplay by Mitchie. Completely outshooting him. And that is Totem wiped by Penta. Beautiful stuff there. Mitchie just using that positioning. Amazing. And how the way he turned around and Uzi, the member inside that building, was just perfect. It's looking like we've lost Highland Wolf right now. I'm pretty sure he should be able to reconnect. It's also looking like King are gone, except for King Bond, who shouldn't be allowed in this match right now. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. He's got 1 kill. We do see Aequilibritas in the south area here, trying to gatekeep this south part of the zone. See that? They've stopped just a meter inside. Rich here, bearing down on the others. Just letting Throne drive past. Is he going to shoot? Yeah, he's going to shoot. No, not quite enough. And someone lets off a flare. Probably Throne. AEQ really taking some damage there whilst they try and pin Qlash out of the zone. And then, hey, another flare goes up. That will be Throne shooting 2 flares. Rich braving the blue zone a little bit. Qlash very far into it, but they can tank it a little bit longer. I reckon he might have run out of battery in his little car there. Wow, so yeah, Throne shooting off those 2 flares at the edge of zone right now. And just absolutely no mercy as Leo punches out Fender. Do they know about the last remaining member of AEQ? Is Rich over there by himself? Qlash getting knocks on Throne already. Are they going to take both of these airdrops for themselves? Qlash coming in strong to the Throne compound, but Shadowin does get knocked on the way in, a little bit too overconfident with that peek. Pushing a compound with quite a few different peak spots right now. KZS is down. And it's looking like Universe are not too far away either, but they do have 2 current knocks. Fishnick and Mafia, and Gold Touch is the only one standing. Can Gold Touch save his team right now? And can Throne keep a hold of these airdrops? Surrounded by squads, Qlash want those airdrops for themselves. And Universe might be pushing in once they've dealt with their own health situations. Another drop has come down. The first one is holding an MK and a Groza. Very, very valuable items here. And the next one hopefully got an A-dub, maybe a T to DBS, which nobody wants. Throwing KZS, smashing Leo out of the game. Now he's down. Moxus almost out of health as well. And this next airdrop does hold an M249 and an MK40, and that could be 2 MKs for Throne. Lethal, lethal weapons.
And I have managed to come back into Discord here, Bigfoot, but unfortunately, unlike the lights here moving down slowly, the power has dropped for me, and unfortunately, with the bug from Tencent, we've talked about it multiple times, been kicked out of the game. If you can continue the action map, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, that's great. So what, is your MacBook out of battery then?
Well, I know I'm just stuck in the spectator lobby.
Ah, got you. Yeah, well, that is a nightmare. Throne has just got knocked again. That's KZS overextending towards the Qlash push. Kendo, it's all on Kendo to keep this overextension going. Naranx needs to catch up because the zone is moving in and Qlash are going to start moving forward. Kendo focused more on smoking KZS right now than actually wiping out Qlash. But yep, KZS does go out from the back. Is that AEQ up on the forest there? It is AEQ on the third party, stealing a kill from Qlash. But Qlash get the kill themselves on Kendo, and these boxes are still for the taking, but AEQ keeping the pressure down. It's only Naranx left defending these 2 airdrops, and there is full of goodies for the winning team right now. I just hope Qlash can come out on top and have time to loot. But it does look like ShadowN is down. AEQ Rich has managed to be finished off, so there might be time to get some of these back up. But that third party there was a serious thorn in the side of Qlash as they try to dominate this area and take those airdrops for themselves. Naranix is on full health, about to get into a car maybe and just disappear with the loot from the airdrop. Currently on full level 3 armor, yep, so I'm guessing he's looted up from those drops and he just needs to get out of here and survive right now. Luckily, that bridge is just in zone. He only has to tank a little bit. What a perfect escape route available for Naranx as he managed to make it out there barely with his life. And the zone closing in now, and it's looking like there's only three full squads in the zone right now. King Bond still not really sure with what's happening with him. Cold Touch still shooting at the ranks. Nearly managed to blow that car up. The ranks wants to get out of this car. Fortunate for ranks, there's no one really in Podovosto, but the ranks is driving straight towards the panic squad, which is actually only one person left right now inside the bunker. Interesting. Not many people would expect to be found inside here in a scrim, especially on the edge of zone. So Panic is... Halo's just trying to take the team to the higher position points right now. Naranx driven past unawares. We do have For Mercy having a bit of a fight here from the high ground. And who they popped some shots off at? Yeah, they were shooting Penta, I think. Penta Esports. Still with a full 3-person squad. I'm a nice fan of the amount of vehicles up here. You do want at least 3 cars. 2 cars, a buggy, something like that to be getting around the map. Oh, and Penta sending shots back. They can see. Benyo just waiting for the right time here. I think Benyo needs to stand up and send some shots off as... Yeah, they start to peek over the edges there for Mercy without any clan tags confusing me. And the zone pops again. Penta very comfy. RS having to push up the back of For Mercy, and this is going to make this into an interesting situation as yet the shots come straight in from behind from Legend, and Jabber is just deleted from this game in an instant. But the shots come back from For Mercy and no mercy is shown. Predator needs to get Legend back up. What are Tengri and whatever the hell that says going to do as they're surrounded? 2 players on either side without much cover. They need to either kill one of these sets of people or make a break for it in the car, and it's looking like they're choosing to make a break for it, leaving RS to heal up, and maybe it's RS's turn to fight it out with Penta. But Tengri does go down on that escape, and whatever the hell the other one says is driving away. Let's see if we can work this one out. It's Miko, maybe. You know, in PMCO they don't allow any weird letters. And they just want you nice, easy to pronounce Romaji or the Roman alphabet. I'm not sure what's going to happen if King Bond makes it to the top 3. What's going to happen with the points there? We'll have to find out. I'll speak to the Brute squad and see what they're saying, but it's looking like Reborn here, comfortable in the middle of the circle. Penta still trying to keep that sort of pin on the west of the circle. They're probably aware that RS are there. They might not be, but I'm pretty sure they would have noticed those shots coming in as they were bearing down on For Mercy. And they did manage to get 1 kill as For Mercy tried to drive away. I'm not sure if they confirmed it or if it was stolen by RS. But Qlash are also making it into the zone, and now all of our teams are pretty comfortable into the zone. And we do have Miko trying to smash Penta out of the picture right now. The overwatch from the top of the hill is strong, but it's only covering a little bit of his movement. And now Duxon needs to stay in a position where if Miko comes out, he's seen by the overwatch. Now, that's an excellent point about team play if you're watching, is if you are low on health fighting someone, you need to, and you have an overwatch, you need to encourage them into the position where they're seen. He does not want to push past this wall right now, because if Miko pushes forward, then the overwatch can catch him out. You see that? He lifts up above the wall and the overwatch is straight down. And He's doing more pushing back towards the Overwatch on just one chip of health. Beautiful stuff. Now Miko has no choice but to expose themselves to that top view from Michi. And RS have skipped past Penta in this engagement, making their way to zone. Reborn sending some shots off. And Reborn do manage to get one member of Universe out. Throne has managed to hit a member of Reborn with the M24 there. Narank sniping down on them. Naranks with that excellent peeking technique. Takes a little bit of damage and definitely knows it's time to reposition and heal. So, not many members inside the final zone right now. They do have to make a push up. RS are kind of dominating against Reborn on position, but they're not dominating as far as bullets landed is concerned, and Legend goes down to Reborn's spray. Reborn just safe in zone for now. Gold Touch out of zone. Going to have to push up on the compound that Reborn are sitting comfortable in. Throne the ranks. Is that the last standing member of Throne? It is. So that is why Throne took that exit strategy when those shots were coming in. It is not worth risking it right now. You need to make it to the final circles. Extremely close to the last member of Panic right now as well. And it looks like Reborn. Shiro has just gone down to Untouched from the back there. Untouched came pushing into this bit of zone and just managed to take one kill out before being wiped by the Uzi of Mido. Well done there. And it's going to be interesting to see how they make this push through up into zone now. Because it's looking like it's getting pretty small with only one main compound left. Oh, and I missed the kill feed on that one, but that would be the last member of Panic out, as Naranks is extremely dangerously close to Qlash here. Naranks just hiding behind that rock. Qlash seem to be aware of the location, and some shots go off, and thrown out in 6th place was Qlash, taking some extra kills, making their total onto 10 right now. And RS Joker, RS the pinners of this game, trying to pin Qlash now. They just go from edge to edge, pinning people out of the zone. But you do have to have your eye kept on the zone as well, because you're open to a flank, especially on this high ground here. Legend goes down. Qlash, superior gunplay right now, and they're going to push up to this pin. And that is a beautifully placed molly. Legend almost out. Some headshots straight into Predator, but that level 3 helmet is doing some good defense, but they managed to get the knock, and that is Predator down and out. It's only Joker left, and Joker is not going to last. No Joker and Legend, sorry, but they both go down. Qlash, aggressive counter push to that pin there. That pin was not going to stop them, but they do have to deal with Reborn now. Only 4 teams remaining. Penta making up in that top area. Michi, the last standing member of Penta. King Bond, I don't know if that's an official player in this scrim or not, because the rest of the team are out, and he came into this one by himself. Didn't have quite enough time in the lobby to make it. It would be nice to see a few more options in room making to lock entrance, for example, and give people, so you can lock the entrance and give people time to move to the right squad, because someone can come in right at that last minute, and it kind of messes it up there. No one should be entering the room at the last minute like that. Is not how we roll. We want you punctual. We want you in there on time. Otherwise, you end up like this in a complete solo #1 squad. But hey, at least he's got 1 team kill for his team of 1. And Michi has managed to M4. Hermes down there. Very interesting last little bit of play there from this solo Michi. Don't know if you can confirm that though. Probably can't confirm that kill, and just needs to make a move to zone. There is a vehicle there, Michi. I would be taking position over everything else if I was you. You're a bit far out right now, but you can hear Midas, King Bond's shots. And are you going to sneak up behind and try and third party the remaining member of King? It's almost looking like Bond and Mitchie are teaming right now as they're shooting shots from a similar area without fighting each other. But Mitchie has thrown the nade out. Wrong rock, I'm afraid. Bond is now concerned and definitely making a move for it. Having none of it in the white Hitman tracksuit. Trying to make a break. Yeah, you can definitely hear those shots from Mitchie. Knows that he's nearby. Smoking up, trying to make that last little push into zone. Qlash sitting comfortable with 3 players. The zone's doing a lot of damage right now to anyone in it. You see, Dark was only in there a second. He's brought down to 3/4 health. Mitchie driving in. Can he make it past? No, the shots are coming in from all angles. And the revenge kill from Reborn takes Mitchie out. Stay away from that car until it explodes. Explode them yourself if I was you, buddy. Don't let them take the timing. Yeah, nice. Yeah, do the other one. Well done. That's how you roll. And we are down to 2 squads as the weird member of King is taken out. What can Reborn do against Qlash here? They're both on either side of the zone. Dark making a move for a different position, but getting taken out in 2 or 3 bullets from Mido. And finished off, so now it makes it an even playing field. 1v1 across an open zone. No compounds to speak of, just the natural cover and the burning out cars here. Leo is on very low health, but they do manage to damage Hermes. Hermes is almost bled out. Shadow and is down. Mido really laying into him, and there is time to revive Hermes. It's Leo's chances now. He's got to make that push and knock them both out, or it's going to be a lot harder for him when it comes to the final circle. We're just counting down. The clock is ticking. We're on 6 seconds until this zone starts moving in. Hermes on basically no health. Mido down. The medkit's in. And Hermes finishes off. And oh my days, what a finish for Reborn. Wow. Otsukare-sama deshita, Reborn. Shiro-san, are you actually a Japanese person? You got that Japanese flag and those Japanese symbols. Dozo yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Nice to meet you, buddy. I'm not sure what this 3rd place for King means. It might void their other placement, which is 17th. I mean, you'd hope so for them, but hope not for everyone else because they didn't follow the rules and get into that lobby on time. And I'm just gonna check out these scores here. So we have Penta, 7 kills in 4th place. RS, 6 kills in 5th. Throne, 2nd, 6th. Panic, 0 kills in 7th, but good position for them at least, making it to 7th. Panic seem to be okay at surviving, but not so good at fragging right now. So it's going to be interesting to see if they come back next week and how they can stand up against the rest of the teams. Do have to get the scores here because our other buddy, Highland Wolf, did get disconnected. Looking like not a lot of kills in those later squads, and most of the kills did go to Qlash in that match, which is going to be adding to their victory points quite a lot, and I am looking forward to seeing the final scoreboard for this. So
am I, man. So am I. I'm back.
Hey, buddy.
I've just been listening.
So yeah, Qlash with 2nd place and 14 kills puts them pretty high up, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. With getting game number 2, they also had the chicken dinner there. I believe it was 8 kills, maybe 9 kills on their squad there for game number 2. But with game number 1 not very promising, and also game number 3 not really going in their favor heavily for Qlash, we still have to look at these other teams like PROE, who have had consistent top 5 finishes in games 1 to 3. I'm not sure how they did, as I say, kicked unfortunately out of the game number 4, so did not see their finishing result there. But games number 1 to 3 with high kills still could equal PROE high on the leaderboard. And we also have to look at as well other teams like Decided Totem, like Penta, who have been in the middle of the games here, as well as receiving, as I say, top 5 finishes. It's going to be interesting looking at the left side of this leaderboard for tonight.
Yeah, so the results should be out tonight or tomorrow, and we'll get them up for you next week. We might even have a bit of a replay of some of the action this week if possible, and trying to just add things to this stream bit by bit as we get going. And oh, you look! I just seen you actually there with the light on. Look at you.
I do. It's my emergency light. The light is gone from upstairs in the sky, but I do have my phone for emergency.
Pop out.
Late at night.
Yeah, sorry. When the Discord reset, your webcam's reset. Weird. Oh, I know what it is.
Unfortunate there.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know what it is. Every time something closes, you got to re-find it. There we are. Look at that. Look at that. Man's out dogging. Here we are live.
I am. I'm outside. I'm outside. As I say, what you have to do. What you have to do for casting.
Yeah, I've just turned my main light on as well, and it's red. So you look like you're dogging, and I look like I'm in a brothel.
The lighting contrast will be insane. Look back at this stream later.
Oh yeah, mate. When we're doing the world tournaments, we'll be looking back at these streams.
Yeah. Oh, how I miss being in my car. No, I'm kidding.
And now I have a hotel in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I just wish I had my car back. At least it was legal to be gay. God.
Oh man.
Saudi, what an interesting country. They're going to be hosting esports in the future a lot, man. They're trying to
For
get...
sure. But in countries as well, we have to look at every single one of these games in mobile esports, not just PUBG as well. We have to look at how they're kind of progressing in the mobile esports front here, Bigfoot, and how PUBG, we see, I believe it was the highest recorded so far prize pool here in the world's coming up for 2020, coming from PUBG Mobile, coming from Tencent, and millions of dollars here in prize money from Tencent this year. An amazing opportunity for all of these teams, especially a proving ground for these teams to try and move up and get a couple of those thousands in their pocket.
Yeah, that's where the money's at, man. I even just heard of a 13-year-old who's been signed to a pro team right now, and he's not making millions, but just for playing and training like he was, he's getting €100 a month. So
€100 a month is nothing to ignore, man. You know,
especially as a 13-year-old, bro. Just when you're
a 13-year-old making the cash, aren't you? No, but looking at the board tonight, honestly, a really interesting board. In the teams, especially what impressed me was the new teams, and looking at PROE, even the side of other teams like if I can get them up here, oh my goodness, the Theta here, and as well we see Recast Gaming, another team that were fairly dominant in some of these games. Limited edition had their highlights as well, and even looking at the side of these dominant teams like King, it's nothing in some of these games compared to the likes of PROE, who have been flushing out teams one at a time once again.
Flushing them out, man. Yeah, and I want to find out who this member of Qlash is that's applied to join my clan, because Qlash flushed out half that lobby there with, well, not half, but like he was heading towards a quarter of that lobby, and one Qlash member's applied to join Penetrate, my English clan. I wonder who that is, and I wonder why he's coming to us, because they're impressive, man. They never fail to impress me. I want to meet him.
Yeah, and definitely it will be interesting to see the kill score and the point score at the end of today or tomorrow morning. We'll get that up for you guys when we join you back next Tuesday at the same usual time for the next Brute Scrims. And hopefully some of these epic new teams that we've seen today come back once again to get into next week's action. We'll just have to try and see if we can get a couple of them in. And what a brilliant set of games we had today, man. Yeah,
really good, smooth gameplay for all of that. A few big mistakes and a few positions really taken advantage of there, like coming in the side was quite a consistent theme for this night. And just you got to watch out for that third party. Always, always. Even if it's just one person. We did see them just get wiped.
Exactly there. And as I say, a brilliant set of games, and a brilliant night to see all of the action happening, and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching us two noobcasters in the crazy lights, in the lighting show here, Bigfoot, and see us once again, and hopefully a little bit of a brighter setup next week.
Yeah, that might be. It looks fine though, buddy. You look great, and the car looks great. Make
The
sure
car
you
looks beautiful.
Make sure you go find Highland Wolf on Twitter, and you can subscribe down below. And there's also a link to the Brute Discord below this now. So you can get to the results. Shouldn't be too long. The results should be up in like an hour or so on the Brute Discord. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you next week at Brute. I think the next thing I have scheduled this week is Accelerate Scrims on Friday, which is another big European esports company. And I can't wait to add that to the entourage of Scrims we're streaming on a weekly basis. The new schedule will be Brute Tuesdays, PROE, the PMCO style and PMCO team scrims on a Thursday, Accelerate on a Friday, and then Penetrate, the UK Scrim Clan Wars on a Sunday night. 4 nights so far, and maybe we'll be adding to it. I'm going to start trying to look for a PUBG PC scrim to be screening as well.
Definitely looking out for that, and you guys follow, as I say, Bigfoot, if you've not already subscribed, and check us out on Twitter. We are both there, Bigfoot Scrims 1, and as well as HighWolf_ on Twitter. But that's all from me, and that's all from you there, Bigfoot, and have a good night, everyone.
Thank you very much, and good night.